It is that time again as we are live right here from Blaine's Farm and Fleet in Oak Creek on Rawson Avenue. Steve Sparky Fifer with you out here. And man, oh man, oh man, we are having ourselves a day out here. It is the 19th annual toy drive for Children's of Wisconsin and Robin's Nest. Thanks for tuning in today. If you are unable to make it out here to Blaine's Farm and Fleet between now and 6 p.m. today or tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday, we'll be out here collecting toys from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. as well. You can always donate online at wisportsradio.com, or simply text toys to 34984. Now, before we get into the show, and we have a good show coming up, obviously today, Ty Windisch will join us for Your Step Podcast. He joins us coming up at 3:20. John Greenberg, president of the Milwaukee Admirals, he'll be out here at the toy drive with me and the Bears Sunrooms out here at Blaine's Farm and Fleet coming up at 4:20. Lots of Packers talk throughout the show as well. But I have a challenge I'd like to throw out there, if at all possible, for those of you listening locally and or around the state of Wisconsin, Wausau, Green Bay, Duluth, Superior. Yesterday, we did a total of like $168 online between the website, wisportsradio.com, or via text using toys to 34984. $168. To me, Charlie, we should be doing more than $168 for Children's Wisconsin and Robin's Nest if possible. So, with that being said, I'd like to throw out the challenge. I'd like to personally, on this show right here, see if we can at least get to $500 just on this show. Can we do $500 starting at ground zero right now? Can we get to $500 in donations online or via text? That is the challenge I have, and let's see if we can make this work today for everybody. wisportsradio.com. You can donate there or text the word toys, TOYS, to 34984. And, of course, Toy Drive was brought to you by Tri-City National Bank, Steelwind Industries, By the Yard, and Metro by T-Mobile. So that's my challenge. So we'll see if we can get this done, and I will have our fine folks at Children's kind of keep an eye on this and give me updates as we get going here. Okay, so a lot of talk today about Giannis and the Bucks, and I told you we're going to do a lot of Packers, okay? So there's going to be two Buck segments. This segment's going to be a Buck segment, and then when we get to 3:20 with Ty Windisch. The rest of this will be football the rest of the day. So if you are sick of hearing about the Bucks all day on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, I hear you. I get down with it. I understand. But I got to get my 2 cents in on this too. And then we have an interview, and the rest of this will be a lot of Packers and Bears the rest of the way. So just hang out with me here for a couple of segments on this show talking Bucks. I understand why there is a sense of panic in the streets and freaking out occurring over this Milwaukee Bucks team. If you are watching on X or on YouTube at WI Sports Radio, you will see I have my Bucks jacket on. Maybe you've seen the videos on Twitter, on X as well here from the toy drive, as we've been out here the last couple of days. I've worn this jacket both days. I'm a huge Bucks fan. I did post-game shows in Milwaukee for whatever it was, 15 years or whatever it was after Bucks games as well. So I'm a huge Bucks fan. I think y'all are losing your damn minds. I think you officially have all lost your minds as a fan base of this basketball team. That's what I think has officially happened. I am listening to our lovely Wisconsin Sports Radio Network while I'm out here at the toy drive. Now, I'm not listening to every minute, obviously, because I'm asking for toys and hustling, trying to get toys and cash donations and all that stuff. So I'm not listening all the time. But when I'm walking back and forth and I'm hearing callers say, hey, man, I'm ready. They can trade Giannis. Like, the only way we're going to fix this is to blow this thing up and start over. We got to trade Giannis. I don't know what exactly that's going to solve, other than putting you into a state of demise, possibly for the rest of our lives, and have no guarantee of ever being a championship caliber team ever again once that man is off this team. So I really don't know what you think you're going to solve by attempting to do that. Is this team good right now? No, they stink. Was last night a great game? Well, they made more threes in last night's game than they made in any game this season, I believe. Their shooting percentages were good last night. Rebounding, they rebounded at a fairly decent rate. This year, they've been bad on the boards. Free throw differential between them and the opposing teams is god awful. I think only the Celtics are worse than the Milwaukee Bucks are at this point. So the free throw line has been a major issue for this Bucks team. Is that going to change necessarily? I don't know if it's going to change or not. Giannis, wiping his Instagram account outside of, the NBA championship and the NBA Cup. God, he loves that NBA Cup.
That's awesome.
Outside of those two things, he's wiped all Bucks mentions essentially on social media. It's in the USA Today. Everybody's talking about it. Shams Charania is salivating at the mouth. Oh, man, see, I'm going to be able to tell everybody I told you so. When eventually he has to be traded, I'm going to be able to tell everybody. Nobody's happier in this country right now than Shams Charania that this is going down with Giannis. Now, does he have a right to be mad? Sure, he has a right to be mad. It seems not very good. Of course, he was hurt for the 5 millionth time as well and missed several games that helped put him in this hole while he was out. My question is this. How much of this season, as we currently sit, is to be put to blame on Giannis himself? How much of this is on Giannis? How much of this is Giannis's deal for where they are at right now? Nikolai Law, talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. How much of this is on Giannis? Now, from my perspective, majority of this is on Giannis, if we're being honest. Giannis is the one who, whether it be with his agents doing it to Charania or he's doing it on the down low or however it's happening, this whole idea of, I got to win. I got to win a championship. I got to win. I'm not going to tell you I'm coming back. I got to win. What are you going to do for me? I got to win. So what does that mean? That means because you're not just going to say, hey, I'm in. I'm not going anywhere. I'm signed through this year. I'm not asking to be traded. Whatever it is, this is how we're going to go. Do you remember, Charlie, what I said prior to this year, prior to the Miles Turner deal happening? I said, I'd rather just go to Giannis and say, look, we're going to suck for the next 2 years. That's how it's going to be. But we're going to clear all this out. We're going to get some draft picks back, and then we're going to build a nice young core around you, and then maybe add a free agent and go about it that way. And everybody told me, every beat writer, everybody said, Sparky, you're nuts. He would never, ever agree to losing on purpose for a couple of years. Fair enough. So obviously the Bucks then felt pressure of, I got to do something. So you get Damian Lillard to stretch his contract, and then you go get Miles Turner and cut Damian Lillard. You don't do that if there's not all this undue pressure on you to have to go win every single year. Giannis can't handle losing. Miles Turner has not been good. Miles Turner has not lived up to his contract. Miles Turner is pretty much what every other Pacers fan said he was going to be when they made the deal, and they laughed at the Milwaukee Bucks for signing him to all that money. He's inconsistent. He doesn't rebound at a high level at all. Last night, he has the ball in his hands and turns it over just trying to get a pass back to Giannis at the top. Horrible. And I'm hearing people earlier today on this network, well, I don't know why Miles Turner isn't in there at the end of the game. Because you can't trust him. What does he provide? Once in a while, he may hit a couple of threes, like, woo. And then the rest of the time, it's air balls, clanks. Again, he doesn't provide you enough necessarily to make up for it. The guy he replaced, Brook Lopez, you want to know what he's doing? He's sitting on the bench. He's out of the rotation. He's not playing off the bench. He's sat for the last 3 or 4 games. Ty Lue's not been playing that dude at all. He had been starting in Milwaukee for how many years? Ain't even get on the floor in LA for the Clippers right now. Now, you can say whatever you want about Ty Lue. But when we talk about who's to blame, it's Giannis, man. You're the one that had to have it now. Okay, so they got a bunch of marginal role players that are inexpensive, that they say can all shoot well, and they put them around you. And then Miles Turner is this young, athletic big that can do stuff similar to Brook Lopez, but is younger and can run. That's the plan. Giannis said, okay, let's go. Then Giannis gets hurt. The team sucks, and everybody goes, oh, my God, they're not that good. Oh, my God. Well, you knew what they signed. I mean, if you really thought that Ryan Rollins and AJ Green and all these guys were going to average 35 a night and the Bucks were going to start winning games, get out of here. Then the other thing I read last night, they ought to fire Doc Rivers. For who? Charlie Houston? Charlie going to go coach him? Because I'll tell you something right now, ain't going to be much of a difference. You can only do what you can with the talent you have. They don't have superstar talent across the board. They got one superstar. That's it. A lot of these other guys would be off the bench for most NBA teams in this league that they're running out there and trying to start. You're trying to run 3-guard lineups. You're getting killed on the damn boards because you refuse to play bigger because you want to be young and you want to go out and you want to run. They built this way on purpose. And now that it's not working as it currently sits, now we're all freaking out and saying, oh, trade Giannis, fire Doc, da-da-da. First of all, I'm probably not first of all. I'm probably like my 10th point. It's December, man. We haven't even gotten to damn Christmas yet. Can we all calm down? Let's just see if this works over the course of time, over a stretch, before we get to this point. If we get to, middle to end of January, and they're 5 to 10 games under 500, okay, I'll listen to the panic in the streets. Cool. But let's just settle down. And that includes Giannis. Now, I have no idea why he scrubbed his social media. And to be honest with you, I don't care. Could care less. It could be, hey, man, I was mad at last night's game, had a few cocktails, and started just deleting stuff. Hey, whatever. Woo, this is fun. Yeah, you have a few cocktails. It happens, right? You don't know what next day you're like, oh, crap, what did I do? What did I text that girl? Right? I mean, it happens. Who knows why he deleted it? To be honest with you, I don't care. But what happens when you do something like that is, in today's society, everybody overreacts and acts like, oh, he's going to ask for a trade. He's out of here. Just stop, man. Like, he's not an idiot. He knows he put himself in this position. He knows this whole, I don't know if I want to stay. I don't know if I want to go. Prove to me you love me. Tell me how much you love me. All this nonsense got you into this damn position to begin with. And now you're leaving Bucks fans going, well, the only way we can figure this out is if we completely tank and blow this thing up and try and figure it out. But that's not the answer. You can't trade Giannis, man. There's no guarantee you'll ever get another superstar in Milwaukee ever again. What was the question again? Question is, how much of this season is to blame on Giannis? Nicolay Law, talking text line 414-677-1250. I feel better. I've had that pent up the entire time at the toy drive today. I needed to vent it out. I didn't want to talk about Giannis and the Bucks all day. I wanted to talk Packers Bears, but I had to get it off my chest before I combusted. All right, what do you got?
I'm glad you got it out of your system a little bit there, Sparky. I don't know if I 100% blame Giannis for everything that's happened this season. I mean, he hasn't played in a lot of these games, and the scoring options haven't been the problem. Like, the Bucks need to stop giving up 115-plus points a game. The reason you lose to the Wizards yesterday is because you give up 3 more points than you scored. That's the only reason.
Yep.
Like, there's no other. Kevin Porter Jr. comes out here and scores 30 points in his first game back. He looks awesome. You have Ryan Rollins able to put up 30 points a game and certain nights so far this season. It's the fact that guys like Bobby Portis are out there and just not giving you anything. Like, it's worse than usual what he is doing on the defensive end. Miles Turner isn't giving you any plus on that side of things. And Mitch Thunder Nellis brought this up earlier on the Mason Crosby show. When Brook Lopez was on this team, at the end of his tenure with the squad, he wasn't getting a whole lot of rebounds, but his presence on the court and where he put himself after a team would take a shot allowed for other players on the team to get rebounds.
He boxed out. He never rebounded at a high level at any point in Milwaukee, but he boxed out and allowed the ball either to hit the floor while somebody else grabbed it or allowed a teammate to get in a position, which Miles Turner does not do that either.
At all. He doesn't do it at all. It's so frustrating. And I know you hate the plus minus, but when it gets to like egregious numbers, when it gets to like -7 a game, which is what Bobby Portis is consistently at, what some of these other guys on the team are consistently at, Gary Trent Jr. is consistently at a minus in his box score. These are things that you have to look at and say, you know what? Yeah, that's frustrating that they're not playing defense, but it's a team mentality when it comes to defense. And what you mentioned before is giving them a little bit more time. I think this squad can start winning games again, especially if Giannis can stay on the floor and Kevin Porter Jr. can stay on the floor. But until then, you're going to keep losing games as long as you can't rebound with a team mentality and you can't play defense with a team mentality.
If you go back, look at social media after the first couple of games, people were talking about, oh, man, this team's going to be unbelievable. Like, they did a great job. Man, they're playing defense. They're being physical. You remember, we had Eric Naiman from The Athletic, and Eric's like, yeah, this is great, but can they do it for a whole season?
They were putting up 120 points a game during those first 8 games. You can't do that consistently and expect to win those games.
Fair enough, but they were also playing way more physical on the defensive side of the floor than they were before, getting a lot more deflections and so forth. All of that has stopped. Nathan Marzian, one of the biggest Bucks fans alive. Everybody follows him on social media. We also know he loves Giannis, right? Loves Giannis.
Big fan.
He called Giannis out last night and said, I hate the effort that 34 gave last night. Nobody should play more than 34 because he didn't give the effort. And everybody lost their minds. No question, Giannis. Hey, man, it's okay. That dude signed a contract. That dude should be held at a much higher level than everybody else on the floor. Everybody. And that's why when we start talking about how much is Giannis to blame for all this, he is the guy to blame for all of this. And this is exactly the mess that Giannis made. And now Giannis can do one of two things. You can pout and be immature and be a child and take your ball and want to go home and ask to be traded, or not give effort, or shut down and not talk to anybody. You can go that way. Or you can fight your way the hell out of this, get everybody fired up and motivated, and be the leader out of this mess and get yourself back onto playing a high level of basketball. He's got two choices. It's up to him which one he wants to do. But when you scrub your Instagram without anybody knowing the reason, that tends to lead me to believe that he's just going to pout and cry because it's not going as well as he wants it to go and be mad at everybody. When the finger pointing should start with himself by extending this crap out every summer and not trusting the general manager of this team to try and do what's right for this team and continuously putting pressure on him. I hated it all summer. I was mad at him all summer for doing it. And now we're here, and now he wants to go and do this. And now what has that done? That's created a huge firestorm, and now Bucks Nation is losing their minds. And now the national media, who doesn't want him in Milwaukee, now is really excited because they don't think he wants them in Milwaukee either. So now it's really become a fiasco over one single decision after a game in which I'm sure he was mad. A lot of people were mad after that game last night. But that's not how you lead. That's not how you bring these dudes, pick them up by their bootstraps and go, listen here. Y'all going to have my back. We're going to do this the right way. We're going to work hard. We're going to watch a little extra film, and we're going to fight our way out of this. That's how you lead. So let's see if he's capable of that.
The players on this team, the young players, the Kevin Porter Jr.'s, the Ryan Rollins, the Kyle Kuzmas, the Miles Turner, all have the ability to play at this high energy with this level of enthusiasm that can win them basketball games with that team mentality I was talking about before. But like you said, that stems from Giannis wanting to do that as well. And so far, what we've seen this season is that when he's on the court, he has this mentality of, oh, it's just a bunch of young guys. I have to go out and just do it myself, instead of saying, I'm the leader of these young guys. I'm going to go out there and do the most of the work, but I know that everybody else is going to be behind me when it's time for them to step up. And he just doesn't seem like he has that mentality right now. I think he can grow into that. It just needs to take a little time with this new squad. At the same time, he's past that point. If he wants to be this legendary player that he talks about, if he wants to be this generational talent, part of it is taking yourself and picking everybody up around you when you are at your lowest. And right now we're not seeing that.
No, we're not seeing it at this point. And to me, that's where this all starts at the end of the day. But again, the thing that irritates me is, let's not go crazy. And let's not say, oh, let's trade him. Let's do it that way. And maybe a lot of you have more faith in all of this than I do. But nobody, and I repeat, nobody, after Giannis leaves is going to say, oh, yeah, I want to play in Milwaukee for the next 5 years. I'm SGA. I'm Anthony Edwards. I'm going to sign in Milwaukee without Giannis to be the guy for the Milwaukee Bucks to build their franchise around. It's not happening, man. Cooper Flagg, if and when he ever gets to free agency in Dallas, is not coming to Milwaukee to have the franchise be built around him. You got Giannis. You don't trade Giannis and freak out because you've lost a few games and you're unhappy with how the team looks at this point. That is horrible. You absolutely cannot do that. And if you do that, and if they do that, don't be too surprised if they sell the team immediately after doing that at this point, because they also know that Deer District, while I love it and it's amazing, when Giannis is gone and they aren't good, it's going to be a ghost town. then you're going to have big problems. Because right now, that Bucks crowd is coming and filling it up, right? Maybe not filling it up like it used to, but still, you have that Bucks crowd coming in. You got concerts, you got all that stuff, and it all makes sense. You get to Ghost Town, Bradley Center like Ghost Town again, that's going to be even bigger problems, Charlie.
No, you can't have that. You've built up that area of Milwaukee so much so far on the legacy of Giannis, essentially. You can't let that just walk away. And people that want him to go because of this, you have to give him a little bit of time. Again, I think he's earned that little bit of time to help try to get this worked out. As frustrated as you are with him, or as frustrated as you are with the team, they won that championship in 2021. He's stuck around through a lot of downs so far in the past 3 seasons and still said he has this mentality of winning a championship in Milwaukee. That's his goal. Another one here with this town and this team. You have to give him that little bit of time to try to figure things out and not immediately just freak out on him when he does delete his social media. Guys are going to do that. That's what a lot of these professional athletes do. They like to have these cryptic messages just all around and have fun with that type of stuff. At the same time, as fans, just watch the basketball game and cheer for this team and hope that they can figure it out. Don't worry about what he's doing on social media.
All this stuff that guys do on social media is the look at me, I'm mad. Everybody talk about me. That's what it is. Oh, I don't want to say I'm going to be in Milwaukee, so look at me, talk about me. That has been the Giannis mantra for quite some time now. Hey, in a world of tenders, Wendy's decided to make something more juicy, more crispy, and more dippable. New chicken tenders are here. Some may call them tendies, and yes, it's fun to say and even more fun to eat. And Wendy's new chicken tendies come with an insane new sauce lineup. New Wendy's signature, new sweet chili, or new scorching hot. Or choose one of the classics, honey barbecue, creamy ranch, or honey mustard. Whatever you choose, they're a perfect vessel to dip all your tendies in. Wendy's new chicken tenders are so juicy, crispy, and dippable, you'll remember them forever. Gotta have tendies. It's gotta be Wendy's. I had the chicken tenders yesterday, Charlie using. Today, Kay went at her lunch hour, said, what do you want? I'll go to Wendy's for. You're the best. Thank you. 2 double stacks and fries is what I asked for, and a large Dr. Pepper. I opened up the bag, and wouldn't you know it, she got me a Cinnabon pull-apart, too, for dessert. Oh, so good. Warm and delicious and gooey and yummy, yummy, yummy. So happy. Coming up next, we are going to switch gears again. That's enough for the Bucks until 3:20. I didn't want to be on this all day. I want to talk about the Packers and the Bears. Who do you feel is the most comfortable under pressure going into Sunday? Because there is some pressure here. You're talking about playing for number 1 in the NFC North. You're talking about the Bears having the number 1 seed in all of the NFC. All eyes will be on the game this weekend. Who do you feel is going to be most comfortable in those surroundings? It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky with you from the 19th Annual Toy Drive for Children to Wisconsin and Robin's Nest. I've got the challenge out. Obviously, I would like toys out here at Blaine's Farm and Fleet and Oak Creek. That obviously is the main goal, trying to fill our semi. But online, we only did like $168 yesterday. I'd like to do $500 by ourselves on this show, whether you're in Wausau, Duluth, Superior, Green Bay, southeastern Wisconsin. Everybody hop on if you can't make it to Oak Creek, and let's make some donations online at wisportsradio.com. Or I'll make it even easier. You can simply text the word TOYS, TOYS, to 34984. 34984 to make your donations. Let's see if we can get it done. Toy Drive's brought to you by Tri-City National Bank, Steelwind Industries, By the Yard, and Metro IT Mobile, broadcasting from the Bear Sunroom. Coming up next, Packers Bears here on Wisconsin Sports Daily. The challenge is out. The challenge is out. $500 I want to raise. That's it. $500 between now and 5 o'clock online if possible. Now, I don't want you to stop coming down here to drop off toys. That's still the most important thing is dropping off the toys. But we did 168 on Wisconsin Sports Radio Network yesterday, raising money for the 19th annual toy drive that you just heard about for Children's Wisconsin and Robin's Nest. I'd like to get to at least 500. It'd be great to get to 1,000 or more than that, but I want to start off with a realistic goal. If it took us 168 all day, I feel like 500 in 3 hours is probably a pretty big ask, but I think we can do it. Yes, I do. Donate online, wisportsradio.com. Text toys to 34984. All right, Bears and Packers coming up Sunday afternoon. What is that, 3:20, 3:25 kick? And then we'll have the Green Bay football postgame show following that one from 6:30, starting at 6:30 on Sunday night with Tommy Wirtz and myself. Green Bay football postgame show powered by Lakeland University. Charlie Usen, you tell me, going into this game, your vibes, I guess, from the Chicago side of things from the Bears. And then I'll tell you my vibes as a Packer fan, and then we'll get to the question we're going to ask.
I think most Bears fans right now aren't overly confident at this point. I think we're still pretty excited about that win over the Eagles, but I think a lot of fans are still going into this game knowing that it's an NFC North matchup. It's the Green Bay Packers. It's this renewed rivalry that we've seen over the past couple of years here. It's going to be a tough game and that it's not going to be easy. At the same time, they know that the Bears kind of match up pretty well against the Packers right now. The offensive line for the Chicago Bears is looking like one of the best units in the league. That run game in that last game against the Eagles was really just aggressive, and Caleb Williams is able to go out there and in the clutch moments lead this team downfield and create game-winning drives for the squad, especially with a play caller that knows what he's doing. It's not Matt Eberflus from last season where it was just constant bad mistakes. They know how to go down there and execute when it's time. And so far, I think the Bears seem like the better team at this point. Not by a lot, but so far they seem like the better team.
From a Packer fan standpoint, I'll tell you where I'm at. I see a 14-point victory or more in this game against the Chicago Bears. I think the spread was like 6.5, something like that. And I'm not there. I really feel like Caleb Williams is going to lose this football game for them if given the opportunity. I mean, I could see him throwing 2 or 3 interceptions in this game and really just throwing it away, and everybody's going to want Caleb Williams gone in Chicago after this game after he blows it to the Packers. Because remember, Caleb Williams is another guy that when he got to Chicago started running his mouth about Green Bay as well, similar to the head coach Ben Johnson did prior to the beginning of the year running his mouth about Matt LaFleur. So these guys have been doing far more talking than I can remember many other Bears regimes doing outside of, who was it? Lovie Smith, who when he took over, I think 2 things that matter is we beat the Packers. Okay. But since then, there hasn't been much of it. Eberflus never really got into the whole deal of the rivalry and so forth. The thing that I guess would be a little bit concerning is no Devontae Wyatt. How do you attack the run? How do you stop the run? But the question that we have right now, going into this game, it's a battle for first place in the NFC North. The Bears are number 1 in the NFC as we sit here today. The Packers have every opportunity to be number 1 as well in the NFC before the end of the season is over, right, Charlie? I mean, you can't, as a Packer fan, look at this and go, oh, we're never going to get the 1 seed. It's a very realistic possibility that they could still end up with a 1 seed, Charlie.
They're right there. I mean, this is one of the tightest races in football right now. I know the NFC West, the entire conference, everybody's fighting over there and duking it out. But this is one of the oldest rivalries in football. I think it means a little bit more. And I think the Packers want that and know that it's still within reach for them in this scenario, especially if they can go out there and dominate in game 1 like you're talking about here.
Right. And that's I think is a big deal here. So how do you think between the Packers and the Bears, as we look at this, who do you feel is the most comfortable under pressure going into this game Sunday? Because again, you choke this thing away, you succumb to the pressure a little bit, could be the difference in them winning or losing a game on either side. Nicolay Law talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. On the social, streaming live on X and on YouTube at WI Sports Radio. See Sparky Fifer with you. Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. 19th annual toy drive for Children's Wisconsin and Robin's Nest out here at Blaine's Farm and Fleet here every day, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. We'll have the King's Catering food truck out here from Oak Creek from 4 to 6 p.m. tonight as well. Yesterday, brisket and pulled pork, delicious. Today, tacos are on the menu. They'll be out here with their food responders fire truck giving out the food and selling the food. 100% of the proceeds go right to the toy drive. They don't take food costs, nothing like that. All goes towards the toy drive, which is amazing. They've been big supporters of the toy drive for 19 years, and I love them for being out here with us again this year. I think the answer to this question is simple. I feel way more comfortable in the Green Bay Packers in this situation than I do the Chicago Bears. This isn't a slam on Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson is coaching these games for the Detroit Lions. He knows what's up. Some of these other guys have not been in this situation, right? You got Colston Loveland. This is going to be the first time he's really been in this. Cole Kmet has been there, yes, but they've sucked forever as well. So Cole Kmet really hasn't been in this situation. DJ Moore really hasn't been on winning football teams in his career between Carolina and here and so forth. So I'm not really sure how he'll do. And if we're being honest, he's had a horrible year by standards that were set for him coming into the year. So you don't know about that. Odunze's still a young player. He played some big games in college. Not the same thing in this situation.
He's cooled off since they've been as hot as they are. He hasn't been that number one option in the receiving room.
Correct. So you have all of this going on and some young guys. I just think if I'm looking at this and going, okay, who do you think is in a better situation? I think it's the Packers. These guys have been in the playoffs last 2 years with Jordan Love at the controls. First year they win a big game in Dallas, lose to San Francisco. Last year they lose to Philadelphia, fine. But they've been in the postseason. They know how the game changes in the postseason and so forth. So they've been in bigger games. Not saying that this is a playoff game, but it's going to have a feel of a playoff game, I would think. If this doesn't have a feel of a playoff game, I give up. I mean, you have the rivalry. You have number one in the North on the line. You play each other 2 weeks after this one. So this is a setup for the grand finale and possibly a third time in the playoffs, depending on how it sets up for the Bears and the Packers. This is a big, big football game, and you would think the fans would be into it. Both teams will be into it. I would expect there to be a little chippiness maybe going into this game from both sides because it is a rivalry game and you're playing for something. So if we're talking about who we feel comfortable with, I feel comfortable with Jordan Love at the controls. I feel comfortable with Micah Parsons and Rashawn Gary and Xavier McKinney on the defensive side of the ball playing well in a big game. You got to think Micah Parsons is going to get a couple sacks in this game. He's going to play up. You're going to have everything he's got to try and get rid of the Bears. I feel much better about the Packers than I do the Bears. What about you, Nicolay Law? Talk and text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Charlie Usen, Chicago Charlie. What say you?
I want to tweak your prediction a little bit from earlier in the show. I don't disagree that Caleb Williams could lose this game and throw a few interceptions, but I also feel like you could say the same thing about the other side of the ball and say Jordan Love could do the same thing. I think this game is really going to rest on the shoulders of these two quarterbacks and one of them having, honestly, a career performance in a game like this. One of these two guys is going to have to rely on their head coach to put them in the right position, and both these teams have head coaches that I think are trying to prove something in this game as well. There's a lot going on between the minds that are running the offense and the guys that are on the field that are leading the offense that I think that this game could really come down to the wire and be an awesome game like you're talking about. I think the pressure, though, in my mind, so far in this game lies more on the Packers' shoulders. And I think the Bears so far this season, you talk about Caleb Williams potentially having a game like that. We haven't really seen that. Yeah, he's had bad games, but when it counts, he's been the guy to lead the team downfield. He's been the guy that they've leaned on, even though it's not a perfect performance. And I think Jordan Love has had those moments so far this season, but Caleb Williams has done it more and more consistently so far this season. He's been the one they've relied on. It's the Packers defense that they're relying on. And the Packers defense, Devontae Wyatt is hurt in this game. The linebacker core hasn't been as phenomenal as we saw earlier in the season. Your wide receiver room could potentially still be missing a few pieces. And your defensive back room, again, is playing with a couple injured starters and not great depth in the backup roles. This is a situation where I think the Bears really feel the need to put their names on the map and put a stamp in this rivalry. And this is a situation where I think that leads to them not having the pressure on their shoulders and not really having to deal with that pressure.
I think the Bears winning that game against Philadelphia took some of the pressure off their shoulders. They beat a legitimate team now. Unless that team doesn't listen to the score in Chicago, which I highly doubt because they get reactions from Bears players all year long. So knowing that they listen, they also know how big this game is. If you just turn that radio station on and hear Bear fans calling in talking about, we're going to beat the Packers. It's our time now. It's over for them. They've been saying this since Brett Favre was done. And then, oh crap, Aaron Rodgers is better than we thought. Ugh. And then, oh, here's Jordan Love. Now it's over for sure. first half of Jordan Love's year. He sucks. Oh, man, it's all done. See ya. Now you know what it's like not to have a quarterback. And then he got hot. He's like, oh, no. And then it was a quiet offseason. And then last year, they go again and they play well and they get beat in the playoffs. Oh, yeah, you got a quarterback, but he doesn't know how to win a big game. And we have that all up in our face from Bear fans. Bear fans want this more than anything. If you would have said you can beat the Packers or the Eagles in the next 2 weeks, they all would have said Greenberg.
Packers.
We'd much rather beat the Packers than the Eagles. We don't care if we
Eagles
lose the
was
Eagles.
Fun, but
it's not the same thing.
The whole Eagles game was just hoping that they could go out and beat the Eagles so that we know we can go out there and definitely beat the Packers is really what it was.
Correct. But again, the saying of get the monkey off your back, they did that with the Eagles game. Now there's not questioning, oh, are they good or aren't they good? Well, obviously they're good. They just beat Philadelphia. So they did their job, no question there. So now it's just a matter of who's going to win the North and who might end up having this 1 seed. And when you look at it from that perspective, there is definitely pressure on them. Like, I don't think, I could be wrong. I mean, we're on WNFL in Green Bay. You tell me. I don't feel like there's any pressure on this Packers team necessarily going into this thing one way or the other. I don't feel like Packer fans are all like, oh, the world's going to end if we don't beat the Bears on Sunday at 3:25, because you know you got them in 2 weeks in the get-right game in 2 weeks. Now, if the Packers lose Sunday, then all the pressure shifts to the Packers when they come back to play the Bears 2 weeks later on that Saturday afternoon. Then, yes, then the pressure will be there. But I think from an organizational standpoint, from a coaching standpoint, from a player standpoint, history says Packers beat the Bears. That's what we do. That's what our team does. We're not worried about this. Yeah, they're better than they've been in the past. Yeah, they deserve credit for being better than they've done in the past. We know we have to stop the run to win this game. And if we do, we know the quarterback will give us opportunities to turn it over, just like Jay Cutler used to do for all those years, which is a beautiful thing. Like that about Bears quarterbacks. So that's what you want. And then the other part about this is don't let Jordan Love turn over the ball himself. Like, if the Packers defense goes and gets 2 picks, don't you throw 2 picks, because that defeats the whole purpose of all this. And then we're really just negating ourselves.
That's how the Bears have gotten back into games that Caleb Williams has
made
mistakes. Their defense,
because they turn it over.
The defense gets it right back.
Yes, exactly right. And that's the one thing from a Packers standpoint of we know he's going to give us chances to turn it over. We got to make sure we don't turn it over on the offensive side of the football. If there's nothing there, run or throw it away. Do not throw it into 2-3 man coverage, right? Double team or triple team coverage. Let's go to Eric in West Dallas. You're next on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's with Steve Sparky Fifer. What's up?
Hey, yeah, I would say I agree with pretty much everything you're saying, except my concern is with Wyatt being out and the way that game played out in Philadelphia. The fact that if Ben Johnson doesn't screw it up and decide to pass the ball, I feel like they can I feel like the run game it can travel. And if weather is cold and whatever, if they decide to just run the football with Swift and Monangai, I feel like that's where the problem could come in. And then the pressure's off Caleb Williams and it's all down to the defense.
Yeah, you're 100% right, Eric. That's exactly right. They don't want him to have to throw the ball 30 times a game. They'd rather have him throw the ball 20 times a game and run the ball 40 times between the two running backs. Thanks for the call, Eric. 1,000% right. Not 100%, 1,000%. Ben Johnson's not going to come into this game, go 4 wide and go, all right, Caleb, let's wing this bad boy 35 to 40 times and beat the Packers through the air. That'd be stupidity. He's going to come in and run and run and run. The issue isn't whether or not they can stop either of those running backs. The issue is schematically, can Ben Johnson beat Jeff Hafley schematically? Can the Packers be disciplined in where they're supposed to be, not over pursue, not get guys cutting back against the grain on them and breaking things open? The thing about Ben Johnson, when he was at Detroit, the thing about Ben Johnson now as the head coach of the Chicago Bears is simple. He's one of the best play schemers when it comes to running the football that there is in the National Football League. They didn't all of a sudden get uber talented running backs that are, the equal of Saquon Barkley in his prime. That's not what's happened. They spent money on the offensive line. That helped. Oldie but goodies like Ryan Kelly and so forth. Fine. But that dude is scheming this up to give these guys holes and opportunities to get yards. And then they are taking advantage of those opportunities. Don't kid yourself. If Ben Johnson wasn't the coach, I don't believe their ground game would be nearly as good as it is right now. So that's the chess that we're going to play here between Hafley and Ben Johnson going into this game, Charlie.
And I think Jeff Hafley has shown that he's going to be able to go out there and adjust his defense, even without Devontae Wyatt on the field, in order to create some kind of pressure and stop the run in the middle of the field. This is a situation where he has to go out there and prove all of these people that are talking about him being the next head coach in the NFL right, and have a signature game himself. This is a situation where it's going to be a battle between great minds on either side of the ball. And I think Jeff Hafley, as of right now, may have the edge just because he doesn't have the same kind of want to that Ben Johnson does, where he might be over aggressive.
Dominic in Hales, using the Nicolay Law Talk and text line 414-677-1250 says, before the stretch, many did not think Green Bay could go 3-0. Now I am pleading for them not to lose to the damn Bears, LOL. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a big game. Another one here from JP says it's going to boil down to the trenches. Load the box, take away the run. If the Packers can get pressure on Caleb, they will win the game. If the Bears suck the clock and run the ball when they have a shot, Love will win the game. He is the best third down quarterback. He also has been doing great under pressure. Watch out for trick plays from the Bears. Ben wants to look like the best flashy coach on the field. Yeah, obviously trick plays are something that Ben Johnson is very, very good at. And I'm sure you will see some of that against the Green Bay Packers. I would tend to agree with you on that too. The one thing I would emphasize quite a bit here is even if they get pressure, that does not mean they're bringing him down. He has been Houdini back there, escaping pressure all season long and making something out of nothing. Sometimes he makes dumb throws. Sometimes he makes crazy good throws. You're like, holy crap, that's why he went where he went. But that's the biggest thing. We got to take a break. I've been talking too long. Yeah, you can say that on the radio.
A little bit.
He whispered it into my ear. We're good. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Thanks for listening here in southeastern Wisconsin, Wausau, Green Bay, Duluth, Superior, out here at Blaine's Farm and Fleet, 19th annual toy drive for Children's Wisconsin and Robin's Nest. This is the thing. Highlights courtesy of Monday Night Football, ESPN, Buck and Aikman. Man, that's part of the game, man. You want to run, you don't want to slide, you're going to get hit, you're going to get popped. All the Giants fans are mad. Well, how dumb is he? Why doesn't he just slide? It's not who he is. If you try and coach it out of him, you're going to take away that element from him. Just leave Jackson Dart alone. All right, back after this, time for the 3 o'clock hour next. Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Windisch. It is that time again as we broadcast live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Steve Sparky, Fifer with you. Plains Farm and Fleet, Oak Creek, home of the 19th annual toy drive for Children's Wisconsin and Robin's Nest. Looking for some toy donations out here to 6 o'clock today. The King's Catering from Oak Creek, their food truck will be here from 4 until 6 o'clock today. Tacos on the menu today. 100% of the proceeds will go towards the toy drive today as well. Steve Wilding does a great job with that. So looking forward to having them out here today from 4 until 6. The challenge I put out when we got on the air at 2 o'clock still is there. Looking to raise $500 during the course of this show between 2 and 5 o'clock. All you have to do in order to donate online, whether you're in Wausau listening to the game or Duluth Superior listening to the game there, or WNFL in Green Bay or Southeastern Wisconsin, if you can't get to Oak Creek, donate online at wisportsradio.com, wisportsradio.com, or text the word TOYS, T-O-Y-S, to 34984. Text TOYS to 34984. Toy Drive brought to you by Tri-City National Bank, Steelwind Industries, By the Yard, and Metro by T-Mobile. As we broadcast from the Bear Sunroom, Charlie, I had a couple of guys out here before the show.
Okay.
First guy I had out here earlier before the show pulls up in his pickup truck, gets out a big brown cardboard box.
Nice. All right.
And I come out there. I was like, "Hey, man, what's up? Well, what's your name?" He's like, "My name's Marty." I was like, nice to meet you, Marty. I'm Sparky." He's like, "Oh, I've listened to you for years. That's why I'm here." I was like, "All right, cool. Thanks." I was like, "What do you got here?" Charlie, man, I opened up the cardboard box, and it's filled with those starting lineup figurines that they used to have back in the day. Man, there's a Jason Kidd Phoenix Suns one, John Randall Minnesota Vikings, Hall of Famer. I mean, there are so many Hall of Famer starting lineup figurines still in the packaging, brand new, untouched. Had to be like 30 or 40 of them in this cardboard box. He's like, "Here you go. Hopefully the kids will like these." I was like, "Yeah, man,
That's
I
awesome.
like these." Yeah, they're awesome. So that was my first cool story. Then my second cool story is we had another guy that was out here who used to be in TV back in the day. And he came in here to the Bear Sunroom, and he's like checking it out, and we're talking, and he's listened to us for a long time as well. And he goes, and you've seen this sunroom out here before, right?
Yeah.
Charlie, you've been
I was
here.
out here last year.
He's like, "Man," he's like, "we could set this up on the ice, man. This would be a cool little place for ice fishing or
that's
whatever."
a good idea.
I was like, "Oh my goodness gracious. I guess, sure. I guess you could take one of these Bear sunrooms and put it on the ice. It better be some thick ice, though, because I don't think this thing is all
you
that
better get
light."
it off before it starts getting warm. You're going to
Right,
lose your
yeah.
nice Bear sunroom.
There you go. Exactly right. So, yeah, Bear Sunroom, thanks for putting this together for us. Okay, 3 o'clock hour time. Windisch, the Eurostat podcast comes up here at 3:20. We'll talk to him. Our second and last Buck segment of the day coming up at 3:20. Charlie's Sounds of the Day, brought to you by Prize Picks, comes up at 3:40. We'll see what the top 3 clips of the day are for him. Now we're going to go back to this Packers matchup one more time with the Chicago Bears. This is a simple question, and I don't know how much of an argument there really is to be made on both sides. But I feel like Packer fans are far more negative on their coach than Bears fans are on theirs. Who would you give the coaching matchup edge to between Matt LaFleur and Ben Johnson? Who gets the edge? So, like, if you're putting up, all right, advantage, Packers offensive line or Bears offensive line, advantage, Packers running backs or Bears running backs, right? You always do that and see that on social media or on TV. Who gets the check mark? Who gets the advantage between Matt LaFleur and Ben Johnson going into this first of 2 games over the next 3 weeks coming up this weekend? Who would you give the coaching advantage to? Nicolay Law Talk, a text line, 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Watch us on YouTube, on X as well. You can stream us there at WI Sports Radio. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, all that fun stuff too. All right, Charlie, who gets the coaching advantage in your mind?
I think just based off of natural talent, Ben Johnson has shown so far that he can really grab almost any roster that's in front of him and figure out how to make it a just phenomenal group that figures out how to win football games at any given moment. At the same time, Matt LaFleur's been doing it for a lot longer at this point. He's been through the ropes with a lot of other legendary coaches. He's been around and seen the ups and downs, but has mostly seen ups during his tenures with the Packers, even with Hall of Fame quarterbacks going to a guy that you had no idea who he would be in Jordan Love. These are big things that he's gone through all of it and been able to come out on not top, but on the better side. I think this is a situation where in his first matchup against a guy who has that type of history, Ben Johnson has a big opportunity to either upset him or look way too aggressive and mess up. And I think in this situation, Matt LaFleur is going to have the cooler head. And because of that, I give him the advantage in this matchup just because of that.
Who gives the advantage in your mind between the Bears head coach, Ben Johnson, and the Packers head coach, Matt LaFleur? Nicolay Law talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Well, I will say this. I give advantage to Ben Johnson for being more crazy than Matt LaFleur after he rips off his shirt for a free hot dog in Chicago over the weekend.
You think Matt LaFleur would ever do that for like free cheese curds somewhere?
Zero chance. No. You kidding me? Mess up his hair? No chance. Right. Hey, no chance Matt LaFleur's doing that. But I give Ben Johnson credit because he got the fan base all rallied up around him, got his players all rallied up. So, again, you go back to leader of men and stuff that you do, and obviously that falls into it. I still think I give advantage to Matt LaFleur coming into this thing, and mainly for the same reason I gave Jordan Love the advantage, and the main reason I gave this Packers team an advantage going into this Bears game, because they've all been through it before. Ben Johnson has been a coordinator. Ben Johnson has never been that guy in that moment. As we can see, Dan Campbell is understanding now that it's easier to go for it on fourth down when you have a brilliant play caller versus when you are the play caller. A lot easier to do it the other way around when you know the guy calling plays is a mastermind and is going to figure it out.
Going through that in Philadelphia right now, too.
Exactly, right. Because when Sirianni called plays, he was about to be fired.
Right.
Then they made the move to Shane Steichen, and they were able to be really, really good and go to the Super Bowl.
We're really
good. Right. And then Steichen leaves, and all the wheels fall off, and it's not the same thing anymore. And then Kellen Moore is there, and again, clicks away, all is good, everything is fine. And I don't even think Kellen Moore is all that great, by the way. Better than he is. And then he has to replace Moore because Moore leaves to be a head coach. And now this latest knucklehead that he's got isn't any good or isn't very good. And now the wheels are coming off in Philadelphia at this point for the Eagles. I think when you're talking about Matt LaFleur going into this thing, while he receives a lot of criticism from Packers fans, and I understand why he receives criticism, I totally get it. My concern is Packer fans are going to jump off a bridge on Sunday night, because if they come into this game and it doesn't look like the Lions game, and Jordan Love isn't being allowed to wing it all over the field, and it isn't a more wide open offense like it was against the Lions, if that's not what this looks like, and we go back to trying to run the football and be conservative and trying to keep the Bears offense off the field, if that's what it is, Packer fans, I promise you, we'll be calling into the Green Bay Football Postgame Show after the game on Sunday, powered by Lakeland University here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, and Packer fans will be yelling and screaming at Matt LaFleur for being too conservative. Trust your quarterback. He just tore up the Lions. Why don't you trust him and tear up the Bears? That's going to be the conversation piece going into this thing. However, if Matt LaFleur feels like there is a problem here of if we can't stop the run, we aren't going to get a ton of possessions here one way or the other. If they continuously get the ball time after time after time again, and we're scoring quick and so forth, you just wonder how that plays in his way of thinking as far as how he wants to approach this game going forward. This Bears defense does get a lot of turnovers. Jordan Love has 3 picks. That's pretty good.
Yes, solid.
If he's considering like, hey man, if I let him throw it 40 times, he may throw 2. That may cost us the game and may lose it. And then we're going to go back to running the football again a whole bunch. We'll have to wait and see. I think going into this game, you're going to see the same Matt LaFleur you saw before the Lions game and every game before that. I think it's going to be a lot more running, some play action. It's not going to be as aggressive as it was against the Lions. And the only reason it was that aggressive against the Lions was because that's how their defense sets up. They set up to stop the run and force you to beat them in the air, and that's what the Packers did. I don't think the Bears are going to do that necessarily going into this game. Their defensive coordinator, Dennis Allen, has been around a long time. I would be surprised if they are all that aggressive at all, and they don't line up with that 2-cover shell behind their front 7 and go, okay, beat us with 5 and 3-yard throws all the way down the field, Jordan Love. I can't imagine they're going to be super ultra conservative or aggressive with a one high man look and blitzing from all angles and playing man to man. Like I can't see that happening from this Bears team. I don't think Dennis Allen's an idiot.
No, they're going to sit back and make Jordan Love make mistakes. They're going to force him to be overly aggressive. They're going to go out there and say, like you're saying, keep running the ball between the middle. We're going to stuff it up. We're going to let you keep getting those 3 yards, keep throwing the ball to the outside. One of these times, Tyreek Stevenson or Jalen Johnson or Kevin Byard is just going to jump that short pass and take it to the house because that's what they've done all season long. This is a situation where I think Matt LaFleur has to go into this game and, like we've seen the past 3 wins, have this kind of game plan that he's not going to shy away from and know that he is comfortable in with the personnel that's on the field. What we can't have is the Matt LaFleur of last season and the Matt LaFleur of the first half of this season where he goes in with a game plan and completely freaks out at halftime if it's not working out and strips the game plan bare to what their base offense is. Because the Bears will take advantage of that with, like you said, a veteran defensive coordinator in Dennis Allen.
I think this is a game where the Green Bay Packers need to get off to a fast start. Make Ben Johnson deviate from wanting to run the football and put the ball into Caleb Williams' hands and make him throw the ball. If you do that, you win. Game over. But if this is a 10-7 game, something like that, and we're going into the fourth quarter, Packers could be in some trouble because by that time, my guess would be they will have way more rushing attempts than the Packers will. And that Packers defensive line is going to start getting tired, and that Bears offensive line is going to start leaning on those Packers defenders, and then you're going to see one of their guys break one, pop one in a big moment that could decide the game. That's where my thought is. However, from a Packers offensive standpoint, I'm not convinced the Bears defense can slow them down under 27. I don't. I think they can throw up 27, 30 points on this team. The only way they're going to keep them under 27 or 30 is if they run the ball, control the clock, and continuously get third downs and have 15 and 16 play drives. The Bears offense does that, then they're going to stay in this game. If you have a couple of drives where it's 1, 2, 3 punt, Bears are in trouble, and a lot of trouble if we get to that point, Charlie.
Do you have any worry with that game plan, though, that this could potentially be, if you do have to put the ball into Caleb Williams' hands, a legacy game for him and Ben Johnson right away, this breakout kind of type of game, and then it kind of kills any momentum the Packers built up over the 3 weeks and gives the Bears all this momentum for the next 3 or 4 seasons under Caleb Williams. This could be like the starting point of launching off with this offense. Doesn't that worry you at all if you have to force the ball into his hands?
No, never even really thought about it, to be honest with you. No. I mean, I understand your optimism and your happiness, and you're smiling from ear to ear, thinking about, oh, it's going to catapult the Bears into winning the division for 3 or 4 years. Oh, it's going to catapult the Bears into playoff success.
Didn't think they were going to
beat the Packers this Sunday.
Like this, man. This is the first time.
I agree.
You brought this up earlier. You said, oh, the Bears fans were so happy when Aaron Rodgers leaves, when Brett Favre leaves.
Yep.
This is a different kind of happy. It's not happy because the Packers are doing something negative to their teams. It's happy because the Bears are doing something positive for once. This feels like they have the right momentum now.
This is the other thing, and I know you Bears fan or your Packer fans are going to be mad at me about when I say this. It's okay to let them have fun.
Right, please.
It's okay to let them be happy. Like, you don't have to respond to every single tweet from a Bears fan and start yelling and screaming at them like, oh, you haven't won it. Just let them be. Let them be happy. The Bears fans haven't been happy in years, man. Years it's been since they've been happy. It's okay to let them be happy. And if the Bears beat the Packers, the world is not going to end. At the end of the day, all that we care about is who's in the Super Bowl at the end of the year. So you get the Bears 2 weeks after this, right? That's what happens. Now, look, there's a guy out here wearing a Bears sweatshirt giving me 2 thumbs up outside the Bears sunroom, right? And that's good. He should be happy. He hasn't experienced a lot of happiness in his life as a Bears fan. I mean, he's got 85, the Super Bowl shuffle. Do you know what I heard on Sports Talk Radio? And I don't remember who it was. Somebody suggested that the Bears should record their own version of the Super Bowl Shuffle now. They should do their own version with this team now and put it out like the 85 team did. That's how crazy Bears fans are right now.
That'd be fun. I also, if you wait till Sounds of the Day, found something from Packers history that they could do too.
Packers history?
Yeah, they like to make music apparently too.
Oh, good. I can't wait to hear what that is. But either way, I mean, that's something that's a little bit different here. That's why I say this game isn't going to be as meaningful probably to the Packers as it is to the Bears. Now, that second game, if the Packers lose this game, then it's going to mean the world to the Green Bay Packers. Then, yes, I'm all in. Then all pressure will be on the Packers 2 weeks later on a Saturday afternoon when they play that game. Then for sure it's all. But going into this game, I guarantee you the Packers are going to this game going, we're the Packers. We beat the Bears. This is how we do things, and we're going to do it again. And I don't think there's a lot of distraught or worry going into this game because I still don't think that there's a lot of angst or worry about this thing one way or the other.
Sparky, yet.
Well, yeah. I mean, yet, as of right now, if they beat the Packers twice in the regular season, then yeah, okay. Then there's probably some worry. But again, like we talked about with the Eagles, if the Packers go smack the Bears around and win by 14, then the Packers are going to be like, and what do we tell you? Okay, let's move on with our life now and quit worrying about the Bears. The problem is, even if that were to happen, you still got to play them in 2 weeks, which means they still get their get-back game if they want it. All the pressure is going to be on them, but they'll have their chance to get back. So while this game is huge, it sets up for that team that wins not to have the pressure of the world on them in 2 weeks when they match up again after the Packers take on the Denver Broncos. Coming up next, Ty Windisch of the Eurostep podcast on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Out here at the 19th Annual Toy Drive for Children's Wisconsin and Robinson's Plains Farm and Fleet on Rawson Avenue in Oak Creek, collecting cash and toys this week. From 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. through Friday, King's Catering from Oak Creek out here with their Food Responders food truck from 4 to 6 o'clock this afternoon. 100% of the money they collect will go right to the Toy Drive. Tacos on the menu coming up this afternoon from 4 to 6. Donate online. My challenge is out there. $500 in cash between 2 and 5 p.m. I'm asking all of you around the state to step up and help us out here for the Toy Drive. Donate online at wisportsradio.com, wisportsradio.com, or text TOYS. This is a new feature this year. Text TOYS, TOYS, to 34984. Text TOYS to 34984. All of those will work, and away you go. Okay, coming up next, Ty Windisch, Eurostep podcast. Do not forget also, if you're looking for a shuttle to and from Bucks home games, you can do it with the Potawatomi Casino Hotel. It's real nice and simple. You go, you park your car there in their free parking garage. Not paying all this money downtown to go watch a Bucks game, right? Then you go inside to the Potawatomi Sportsbook. You make a same day game wager. Ask for your bracelet for the shuttle. You're good to go. Get a purchase at the Potawatomi Sportsbook, that meaning the kitchen, whatever. Ask for your bracelet, and you're good to go. The shuttles leave an hour, 15 minutes before every game, all the way up to game time, obviously. And then return shuttle comes back from Fifer starting at the beginning of the third quarter through the game and after the game, right there, back there to the Potawatomi Casino Hotel. For more information on your game day shuttles from Potawatomi for Bucks games, simply go to potawatomi.com. All right, here we go. I am challenging y'all to raise some money. We're trying to get to $500 during this show. As we are doing the 18th annual toy drive for Children's Wisconsin and Robin's Nest. Blaine's Farm and Fleet on Rawson Avenue in Oak Creek, collecting cash and toys this week from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Through Friday. The challenge was $500 between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. today online. So talking to everybody around the state of Wisconsin listening in Green Bay, Wausau, Duluth, Superior, Southeastern Wisconsin. Donate online at wisportsradio.com. We have about $75 donated online since 2 o'clock. So we're trying to get that number up, obviously. Or you can text toys to 34984. We're at about $300 there. So we're at about $375 right now. So text toys to 34984. So right now we're at about $375, trying to get to $500 before 5 o'clock. I know we can do it. And don't worry, it would be great to surpass $500 as well. So donate online at wisportsradio.com or text toys to 34984. Joining us now on the guest hotline, he is the one and only Ty Windisch, baby, of the Eurostep podcast. You can look at his beautiful face there on X and on YouTube. He's waving. He's got his beard all nice and groomed and ready to rock and roll for this big, big appearance. Ty Windisch, how are we?
Good. I just got out of hair and makeup, like you said, ready to join the show. Really excited to be here on a toy drive day and do genuinely ask anybody listening to go donate. I plan to as soon as we're done here to help out, make sure these kids have their toys, man.
I appreciate it. People don't know this, but Tommy Wirtz actually does travel and do hair and makeup for our guests prior to coming on X and YouTube, Charlie. And he does a really good job. If you look at Ty, he looks good.
For nominating him for that.
Yeah, he really does. He does a good job with the makeup part of it, too. I mean, Ty is really looking good. Ty normally a lot paler, but with the foundation and stuff they put on, he looks really good. Ty, I really am sick of Bucks fans, if we're being honest. I all day I've listened to the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network from Inside Wisconsin Sports from 6 to 9 a.m. with Josh and Trevor, to 9 to noon with John Kuhn and Rami Makloff. Brandon Snyder, their producer, was on the air quite a bit today. Noon to 2, obviously Mason Crosby in the house with Mitch Thunder Nellis, Tommy Wirtz chirping there. A lot of negativity, a lot of people mad. I'm hearing callers asking for them to trade Giannis and start this thing over, to which I about lost my ever-loving mind. I asked this question at 2 o'clock. I'm going to ask you the same question. This situation that they find themselves in right now, how much of this blame lies at the feet of Giannis?
Not the majority. Not most of it. I'd say he is relatively low on the list of people who I would blame for this, and I really hesitate to even try and designate out how much or how little, because I think the people who would say it is Giannis's fault would say things like Giannis wanted Adrian Griffin hired and other things like that. And I just feel like we don't conclusively know those things. And I also feel like even if that is true, it's the job of a good professional sports organization to not let the players run the show, because that's not their job. And while it's important for, to do things maybe in conjunction with Giannis, if you're letting Giannis make coaching decisions, that's an indictment of the organization. I think back to when Dwayne Wade and LeBron James and Chris Bosh stormed into Pat Riley's office and said, you got to fire Eric Spoelstra, the new guy at the time, the old video coordinator. You got to coach the team. And what did he do? He said no. And now Eric Spoelstra is one of the most decorated coaches in the league, one of the most esteemed, a multi-time champion. So I don't put much blame on Giannis. I don't think he was very good last night, in that particular game. But if you talk about overall where the Bucks are at, no, he's still here. He's still playing at a very high level. I don't think you can put him too high on the list of blame.
I just got some news here on the Green Bay Packers from Adam Schefter a little while ago. I didn't see it till just now. The Packers-Bears game has been flexed for Week 16. That Saturday game is now a Saturday night game with a 7:20 start. The Eagles-Commanders will play at 4 o'clock that day. So Packers-Bears, now Saturday night football, 7:20 start on December 20th for all of you. Can set your schedules and so forth. If you're going to Christmas parties or whatever else, now you can work around that. Ty Windisch, I put all of it at the feet of Giannis. That's where I lied all of it. not because of Adrian Griffin or anything like that. I put it at his feet because he is the one. Look at me, make me happy. I don't know if I want to be here. I'm not going to say I'm going to be there. And all this hocus pocus crap that's gone on for the last couple of off seasons, which means you have to win now. Prior to the Miles Turner deal, I said what they ought to do is go to Giannis and go, hey, look, man, we're not going to be good. Lillard's going to be out the year. We're not going to be very good. We're going to take advantage of a high draft pick. We're going to clear some of these salaries off here in the next couple of years, get a big pool of money available to us, and then we're going to go back at it again and build up some more draft picks and make a run at this. To which I was told by everybody, there's no way Sparky will ever agree to that. He wants to win every year. Okay, so let's do what he wants. So now you stretch and waive Damian Lillard. You sign Miles Turner. That deal looks awful currently because he's everything the Pacers fans said he was going to be when he got here. So that's backfired. And then you're left with trying to get marginal role players on cheaper deals that you told us, oh, they can all shoot really well. That's all we need. We're just going to jack up a bunch of threes, and that's how we're going to play. The problem is everybody forgot about defense at this point, and that has gone completely out the window too. If it's not trying to please Giannis at every step and turn to make sure, he doesn't leave and so forth, if he would have just said, I'm here through the duration of my contract. I'm not going anywhere. So whatever y'all want to do, that's fine. John Horst, I trust you. You got Drew Holiday. You got Damian Lillard. I trust you know how to build a championship. After all, we won a championship together. Let's roll. I'm not going anywhere. Instead of just ending it and letting him do what he wanted to do, build it the way he wanted to build it to secure this, you made him you forced him into doing this panic move to go get Miles Turner. And now if it backfires, now we're going to delete stuff off Instagram and pout like a 2-year-old because you didn't get your way and now things aren't going right. And as I said earlier, if you can go two ways on this, if you're Giannis Ty Windisch, one, you can pout and shut up and not talk to anybody and clam up because you're mad that you're losing. Or two, you can fight like hell and be a leader and pull this team out of it and do extra film sessions with these younger guys and do extra work and try and get this to go the way you want it to go. It's up to him. But doing this crap on Instagram is not exactly the way of a leader at this point that is showing he wants to be here, Ty.
I've been told the Instagram stuff happened a while ago, and I think it was pointed out after the game last night. That's what I heard. I'm not an Instagram detective, so I'm not going to sit.
I'm not even on Instagram.
That. But I've been told it wasn't. He didn't get home from the game and do this. This was he scrubbed his feet a while ago. I don't know or frankly care why. To your point, I mean, listen, I understand what you're saying. I don't want to base strong opinions on like whispers we hear about the interdynamics of the front office and Giannis. I don't know exactly. I wasn't there. It's John Horst's job and ownership in the front office as in general to build the team and to ensure to nudge Giannis and it's the intent too with ownership and who made the coaching hire this and here it's John Horst in the front office's job to build the right team and to push people in the right direction to get them to do it. So I won't remove culpability on the roster building and the aggressiveness. If you really want to do something and you make the call, I think you just have to do it, frankly, and sell everyone else on your vision. And if you can't, then that's a fault in that job. And there's always going to be strong people with strong opinions, but I think if you do something as an executive, you've got to own it, even if you didn't want to do it. And I don't really like the idea of saying this person made me do this. It came out that he wanted Kenny Atkinson as Kenny Atkinson is winning coach of the year. Like that's convenient to come out then. Yeah, that's a good time to say that. Hire him if you feel so strongly about it is my take on that. But generally, I do think the aggressiveness is starting to obviously take a toll. And I do think to kind of meet you in the middle here, there probably does need to be a coming to Jesus moment with Giannis where the Bucks say, listen, we can't just send like the 2031 and 2 pick to bring in like a Band-Aid like Zach LaVine and try and fix this on the fly. We need to rebuild the team a bit. We'll still try. We're not in a tank and shut everyone down or whatever, but let's get a nice first round pick. Let's kind of keep the books moving. Let's get a roster that maybe makes more sense here and use the offseason to do it instead of doing it on the fly. On the flip side, I understand if you're honest and you say, well, why didn't you do that last summer? And I don't think they did a very good job of getting a balanced win now roster together here. So I don't know. I think if they keep losing, though, they're going to have that moment where they do have to get from Giannis, like, are you in or out? You know what I mean? Like, enough with the half stuff. Like, we need to have a plan for the next 3 years, not for the next 3 months.
I agree with you on that wholeheartedly. Ty Windisch, Eurostep podcast. This is the other thing that I pointed out earlier. It's December, man. I don't really care what their win-loss record is in December. I think there's plenty of time to still figure this out. The issue that I have in all of this is Giannis clearly knew what the plan was, right? We were going to build it around you with all these marginal rotational players. Hopefully somebody steps up and does something, but we're going to win because we were so good and efficient in shooting threes last year. Now we're going to shoot even more of them this year, and we're essentially going to outscore guys. The other part of this was at the beginning was they wanted to play more physical, be more handsy, get more tip passes that lead to more steals and more turnovers. And that worked a little bit in spurts earlier in the season, but that now has gone sideways, and that is no longer an issue right now with this Bucks team. And secondly, can they really win with three guards and Giannis and Miles Turner? I think not, because they can't handle themselves on the boards to continue to play this way, Ty.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised that they went with AJ Green with the starter next to Kevin Porter Jr. and Ryan Rollins. I get starting the point guards together because those have been clearly two of your most dynamic two-way players on the roster, easily two of the top 5 this season. And I get saying, let's just start our best guys, even if it's not ideal. And I also get the idea of, well, we need to have some spacing. You know, KPJ shot the cover off the ball, but historically has only been okay. Rollins is a little streaky. But I do think that lineup has worked through these first 2 games. They've been good in those minutes with the new starters, but it's against the Nets and the Wizards. I would sure hope any 4 guys in Giannis look good against the Nets and Wizards, although they did, of course, lose to the Wizards. I think they're going to have to go back to Kuzma starting, whether that's with both point guards or just one of them. I would try it with both and see if the spacing works out. Kuzma's been shooting the ball well, but we know he's going to be a streaky shooter. But to your point, I do think they've leaned too far into shooting. Players like Gary Trent, who were more helpful last season, he only really shoots and scores. He's not rebounding. He's not defending consistently. He's not racking up assists. The Bucks don't need more shooting and scoring. They are first in effective field goal percentage. They are first in three-point percentage, and their offense is middling because they don't have enough of everything else. So I think Kuzma is actually a very important balance for them and should play more. And the minutes with Kuzma and Giannis together this year, the Bucks have blitz teams. Like, it has worked, even though it's not always looked pretty. So I think they need to lean into more of that, more size, more defense. I couldn't agree more. The roster doesn't lend itself to that, but I think it's worth trying to do that however you can with this current group.
For those of you that don't know, Ty Windisch is my herd expert because I do not watch herd basketball games, but I do know there's a bunch of NBA guys that have played in the NBA that are on that roster with the herd right now. Any of these guys, Dennis Smith, Oladipo, any of these cats, do you think at some point find their way onto this roster and can actually help this team?
I'm not sure it'll be on the Bucks. I think if there was a moment for Dennis Smith Jr., it's probably with Kevin Porter Jr. out for so long when they needed more guard play to kind of push Cole Anthony. But even Oladipo, who's a little bigger than him, we don't look at this group and say, wow, they need more 2 guards, right? They need forwards. They need size. Oladipo has had some moments. It's kind of taken him a bit to get his legs, but he's had some nice games. And he can give you, I think, theoretically, and in his prime, he was exactly what they needed, if not small. It was small, physical defender, gets to the rim, all this stuff. He's done that stuff a bit with the herd, but it's not been as consistent as he still gets himself back from this major injury. So I think it'd be exciting if one of those guys got a spot. Maybe if you want to open up a roster spot, I think 2-way contracts open in in mid-January, kind of give them a trial. Maybe someone like Amir Coffey, who I'm not sure if his deal is guaranteed. He has not really played much lately. Give him a shot. But I'm not expecting one of those 2 guys to come in and be a real answer. I think they need more size than either of those 2 can provide, especially Dennis Smith Jr., who's really stuck to playing the 1 while he is a good defender.
Ty, what do you do with Miles Turner?
You use him more. I agree that he hasn't impressed, but I don't think it's all on him. I think he needs to shoot the ball better. His numbers are okay in the year, but honestly, it feels like they forget about him out there. It's kind of the same for AJ Green a lot of the game too. Frankly, both of those guys can offer you some more dynamic play than they have, and it's kind of just the ball comes to them and they shoot an open 3 every so often, but that's not consistent enough. I think we saw in that Miami game, Turner can offer you a lot more. If he's got a switch or a small in the post, he can score against those players. He can move the ball a bit more. Defensively, I like keeping him around the rim a bit more, but he just needs to be more involved offensively. I don't understand how you invest the dead cap and the live cap in a player like that and then not have him be a more focal part of your game. And honestly, you watch in the fourth quarter, he comes back in with like 5 minutes left. He sits for these long stretches. I think he's helped the team more than it appears. I think he does some of the little things well. He's not a very good rebounder, which hurts, but I don't think that's all on him with this team either. I would like to see him used more to try and get more out of him, because I think there's more there, and they're kind of just having him be a spacer. I think he's more than just a spacer.
He is Ty Windisch, Eurostat podcast. I always let you promote on the way out. Go ahead.
I appreciate it. The Eurostep, wherever you get your podcasts, or on YouTube, or you can follow me on Twitter at Ty Windisch, posting all about the Bucks all the time. And hopefully we'll have some delightful surprises tomorrow night, but it's going to be a tough one against the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, definitely. Tough would be a good word for it. Yes, Ty, that would be correct. And now Ty's going to go donate online, he said, so this will be fun too. Ty Windisch, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you.
Yep, thank you for having me, as always.
Love me some Ty Windisch all the time on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call. That is all. We are at the 19th annual toy drive for Children's Wisconsin and Robin's Nest. Here at Blaine's Farm and Fleet on Rosset Avenue in Oak Creek, collecting cash and toys this week from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. through Friday. Again, the challenge is on. Donate online at wisportsradio.com. Since 2 o'clock, we've got $75 since 2 o'clock. But the $500 challenge was combined with that and the text number. So you can text TOYS to 34984. Toys to 34984. So right around 400 if we combine those two. Still wanting to get over $500. Have an hour and 20 minutes left. More than enough time. But please do not stop. If you can't donate right now, but you can maybe get to your phone a text in the next hour, don't forget about us, or donate online in the next hour if you can't do it right now. Maybe text your family or friends in Wausau, Duluth, Superior, Green Bay, wherever you're living and listening. That would be cool to help this very good cause for Children's Wisconsin and Robin's Nest. It's all brought to you by Tri-City National Bank, Steelwind Industries, By the Yard, and Metro by T-Mobile. As we broadcast from the Bear Sunroom, Steve Sparky Fifer with you, Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Charlie, Sounds of the Day, brought to you by Prospects, is next. Welcome back. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Sparky here, Charlie Usen back there, being joined now. A guy that used to be a part of all of this toy drive for many years back when he produced for Bill Michaels back in the day. He is Radio Joe Zanzola. You're going to have to move. There we go. Radio Joe Zanzola is here joining us for the first time in quite some time out here at the toy drive. Joe, thanks for stopping out of the toy drive, man. I appreciate it.
It's always a pleasure, Steven. Can you bring maybe the volume down in my headphones a little bit?
Oh, you're not deaf like I am to this point already?
Not yet.
And
No,
Sparky's
not
the
yet.
most deaf person. Every
There
time
you
I
go.
put on headphones on this side, it is cranked up to 11.
It's only getting worse, Charlie. It's only getting worse.
Only getting worse. Exactly right. Okay, so we're going to get to Charlie's sounds of the day. So this is how this works, Joe Zanzola.
Oh, yeah.
He plays 3 clips. We react to whatever he plays. Joe knows he listens as well. It's brought to you by Prize Picks. All right, Charlie, Usen, where are we going first?
All right, so first up, we're going to head over to Cheesehead TV, where friend of the station, Aaron Nagler, was discussing one thing that Packers players need to start doing more, and it also has a song that I never knew existed from the Green Bay Packers.
Let me talk to the Packers players. Guys, you are the Green Bay Packers. This week especially, you need to see some Lambeau beats. You realize I think the last Lambeau beat we saw at Lambeau was from the opposing player. Guys, get in the end zone, turn, get in the stands. As Robert Brooks so rightfully said.
Oh,
There it is.
yeah, it's nice. I don't know. I'm never a fan of that song.
I love that tune.
I
awesome.
never liked.
I
I
never
never
knew
liked.
existed.
Never was a fan. No, and then he tried to ride that for everything it was worth, and that's fine. He was a good wide receiver and all of that. But the Lambeau leap was little boy Butler, obviously, at the end of the day, and Robert Brooks tried to kind of steal it and make it his, and whatever it is. Not a fan necessarily. You like that song? You said, Joe?
Yeah, I think it's a great jam.
Yeah.
I've blasted in my car a couple times
Okay,
over the years.
See that?
As I heard it earlier, he shouts out Leroy in the first verse of the
Yeah.
song, so it's right there in the beginning. It's
Yeah.
awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
It's a whole music video.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I know. I understand. I'm just
They got chicks dressed up from the 60s,
Yeah.
you know? It's cool.
It's all a thing. Joe Zanzola out here with me, Steve Sparky, Fifer. All right, what's clip number 2, Charlie using?
Next up, we're going to head over to the Giants versus Patriots from last night, where Young Wei Koo, the Giants kicker, decided to kick the ground instead of the football. And then we had Mason Crosby from the Mason Crosby Show earlier today breaking down the play.
Whoops.
Slides out a little bit. It's happened before, seen it a million times. But he seems to, right the ship, get the ball, leaned and set right, and Koo just bailed on it like halfway through his swing. I saw his audio. He said that he bailed on it. It wasn't like he just miskicked and hit the ground, right? But it was just a weird time to do it. I feel like if you. Like once he bailed, the ball was set. So it was like he should have bailed literally whenever he saw the ball slipping, if you're gonna ever bail on it. And then I've seen it before, and I've done it before, where all right, I got there too early, I can't make this kick, and you just run through the ball and you call fire and you go away with it. The whole situation just was bad.
Yeah, it was bad. And Koo was trying to play it off and put it all on the holder. Well, the ball was moving, and if the ball is moving, I'm not going to kick it. So I come up short, and I do it that way. I mean, this dude used to be so good with the Atlanta Falcons, Joe Zanzola, and his career is about over now, it appears.
Yeah, it's pretty pathetic when you're on the New York Giants trying to keep a job, and that's not going to look good for him. You know, it's always weird with kickers. I've seen some really weird things with kickers over the years. I've never seen anything like that.
Nope.
The weirdest thing I've ever seen from a kicker, remember Martin Gramatica?
Oh, yeah. Buccaneers.
Yeah, he's celebrating and he hurts himself.
Yes.
He tears his ACL or his
Yes.
Achilles or something.
Yep.
Just from jumping up and down.
Right.
It's like, are you kidding me?
Yes, absolutely right. There's definitely something to it. And sometimes you see some crazy stuff with kickers, obviously, one way or the other. But when I saw that last night, I was like, oh my God, Mason Crosby. I cannot wait to hear what Mason Crosby has to say about this, because I watched Mason Crosby's whole career. Never, ever seen him do anything remotely close to that. I think myself, okay, he's going to make fun of him or something. But he did a great job of breaking down what happened on that moment. Again, Mason Crosby Show, weekdays noon to 2. Him and Mitch Thundernellis here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. All right, number 3.
Last up here, we're going to hear from Georgia head coach Kirby Smart weighing in on Lane Kiffin's decision to go to LSU and leave Ole Miss.
I think most of these guys are descendants or they come from a street of coaching and similarities. You have to take every team, play, you have to take every team that those guys coached. So there'll be some carryover in terms of new coaches, but it's a long way away before we start worrying about that. I don't envy the position he was in. I think it's a really hard position to be in and to navigate. I'll say that the rest of best. It's not we're in a time frame where ADs or people are making decisions in a timeline that's not congruent with the season of the playoffs. So it makes for really difficult decisions.
Can we talk about that for a second? Do you realize that he called Saban? He called Saban, Kiffin did, and asked Saban about it. Saban coached at LSU, coached at Alabama. Saban, by all indications, told him to take the LSU job. Why would you help Kiffin out for? Unbelievable. That'll be it for the 3 o'clock hour, 4 o'clock hour. Coming up next, Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Windisch. And it's time again. Welcome in. See Sparky Fifer with you. Charlie Usen back there as we broadcast live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Y'all got to check out this food out here that we got at the 19th Annual Toy Drive for Children's Wisconsin and Robin's Nest. We're out here at Blades Farm and Fleet on Rawson Avenue in Oak Creek up until 6 o'clock tonight. We're here all week long, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. each day. Unbelievably great volunteers from different companies, Children's Wisconsin, Robin's Nest, all kinds of different volunteers that have been out here all week helping us collect toys. You can drop off toys right here at Blaine's Farm and Fleet. That'd be great. Toyland is amazing. All kinds of different toys that you can buy. So many people buy a toy for a boy and buy a toy for a girl. And while you're here, have some food. This food truck that we have out here is amazing, right? It's King's Catering out of Oak Creek. It says Food Responders on it. And it is awesome. It's parked right here by the Bears Sunroom. Tacos on the menu tonight. So if you're in the area, you're hungry, or you want to bring home some dinner for the family, come try these tacos at the Food Responders food truck. It's amazing. Yesterday, they had pulled pork. They had brisket sandwiches. 100% of the proceeds from the food truck go straight to the toy drive. There is no food cost taken out or anything like that. So every penny you spend to Food Responders goes right to us here at the Toy Drive for Children's Wisconsin and Robin's Nest. I made a challenge of wanting to get over $500 online today between online and texting during this show between 2 and 5. Still time for you. We're about $125, $150 short at last check at around 3:30 or so. Donate online at wisportsradio.com, wisportsradio.com, or text TOYS to 34984. Text TOYS to 34984. Toy Drive is brought to you by Tri-City National Bank, Steelwind Industries by the Yard, and Metro by T-Mobile. Again, as we broadcast from the Bear Sun Room. Time for the Green and Gold Update. All right, time to get to our Green and Gold Update. And I am interested to see how we all think, what we all think of this question here. What more do the Packers have to do to prove to you, Packer fan, that they are a Super Bowl quality team? What more do the Packers have to do to prove to you that they are a Super Bowl quality team? Kind of like the Bears had never beat anybody until the Eagles. They had to prove to everybody they could beat a good team, and then maybe people would start buying in. What is it for you, Packer fans, that you need to still see out of this Packers team before you're on board with, you know what, this team can win the damn Super Bowl this year? They are that good. Nicolay Law Talking text line, 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Charlie Usen, what do you have to see from this Packers team to convince you they are a Super Bowl quality team?
So on Twitter, I saw this tweet from Jeff Howe, NFL insider for The Athletic. He put out the playoff seedings, including each team's record against current playoff teams. The Green Bay Packers are the only current playoff team that has had only one game against a current other playoff team. Every other team in the playoffs, both NFC and AFC, have played another playoff team, or at least two games against another playoff team. I think the Packers need to go out here and dominate against the Chicago Bears, because the only other team they played in the playoffs is the Philadelphia Eagles. And that was a really kind of disgusting game from the Green Bay Packers. It was not fun to watch that one, and it resulted in a really low-scoring game that nobody really felt satisfied afterwards. This is a situation where you can go up against the Chicago Bears, your rival, a team that is feeling really good about themselves at this point in the season, and just put them in their place. And I think that's enough to tell me that they are at that level. Right now, you're looking at teams like the Rams who are 6-2 against current playoff teams. That's kind of insane. They've gone out there and just balled out against almost every other team that's currently in the playoffs, and this is a situation where you want to be in that same kind of atmosphere. Even just having another game against a playoff team should give you extra experience. You just want it to be a win.
That's exactly right. And, you know, that's the other thing about this. I think where a lot of Packer fans are at, I don't think Packer fans trust Matt LaFleur still at this point, where they're going to say, oh, yeah, they're definitely a Super Bowl team, because I don't know if a lot of Packer fans think Matt LaFleur is a Super Bowl caliber winning head coach. This dates all the way back to Aaron Rodgers and the time they had together, and now with Jordan Love. I think a lot of people don't think LaFleur is a big game coach in the postseason, even though he's won playoff games, obviously.
Fans are impatient. This is a situation where, like we've talked about, This Packers team has so much history behind them. The past 2 quarterbacks have been Hall of Famers and have each won one Super Bowl. This is a situation where Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love can really cement themselves in that history, in that timeline. And it feels like up to this point, Matt LaFleur has fallen short despite having MVP seasons from his quarterback, his Hall of Fame quarterback prior to this. This is really a situation for him to shut people up talking about that, because a lot of people think his time is ticking. And nowadays, in the current landscape of professional sports, his time is ticking. No coach really should ever feel safe with their jobs because teams just decide to get rid of guys for any given reason at this point. This is something where Matt LaFleur can go out there, and if he can at least get to a Super Bowl, we're not even talking about winning a Super Bowl, he can shut a lot of people up about his job security.
The other part about this too is I feel like there is something that goes along with the idea of you got Micah Parsons, now you need to go be a Super Bowl team, right? You need to be that guy. I don't think there's any question Micah Parsons is doing his deal that we wanted him to do when they signed him to the deal, when they traded 2 firsts and Kenny Clark. I think he's living up to his end of the bargain. But I think the other thing Packer fans want to see, regardless of what the numbers say and what the stats say, Packer fans are like, we don't care if they're top 5 in stopping the run or whatever. We don't think they're very good at it. I think that's the next component to this, where if they go in and they shut down Chicago running the ball the next 2 times they play Chicago, and they don't allow Denver to get out and run on them, and Baltimore doesn't get out and run on with Derrick Henry, if they show they can stop the run here to close out the season, to me, I think that's the missing piece for me. I trust Matt LaFleur, unlike most other people. I trust Jordan Love, unlike most other people. But I am concerned a little bit about this run defense without Devontae Wyatt being out for the rest of the year. So I want to see them stop the run. Stop this great running game that the Bears have. Stop Derrick Henry. Don't allow him to get off. Denver and Sean Payton, all they want to do is run like Chicago. Stop that ground game, that exciting young rookie R.J. Harvey, who really hasn't had the bust out everybody thought, but still is on that team, and it can be dangerous at times. Let's see you do that. Then I will obviously firmly be on board of they're going to win this thing. Because I don't think there's a team in the AFC right now that I look at and go, oh, yeah, Packers can't beat them. I don't think that team exists. Everybody was hot to trot about the Indianapolis Colts, to which I kept trying to tell everybody, don't buy into it. Don't buy into it. Then I finally turned the corner and said, okay, well, I guess I was wrong. Maybe they're for real. And then they lost like the last 2 of their next 3.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they lost 2 of the next 3, and now they look like the Colts who I thought they were going to be at the beginning of the year. And their quarterback's playing with a broken leg on top of it, and Daniel Jones playing with a fractured leg. So you want to talk about tough? That's also super tough at this point, too. So there doesn't appear to be that team in the AFC that should concern anybody in the NFC as far as they can't beat them. There is no dynasty Tom Brady team. There's no dynasty Patrick Mahomes team that you have to concern yourself with at this point. So I think it's all situations where it's winnable. But you can have a gaping wide target on you that says, hey, if you run the ball, they're not going to be able to slow you down. Your quarterback doesn't have to throw it that much. They can't beat you. Because if you run the ball effectively against the Packers, what does that do? That takes Micah Parsons out of the equation. Can't pin your ears back and go after the quarterback if you're worried about the running game the whole time. You got to set an edge and play home. And that's exactly what opposing offenses probably want to do at this point. And the biggest threat is going to be the Chicago Bears on Sunday.
You want to put the pressure on that cornerback room. Again, it's not a very deep group. While Keyshawn Nixon and Carrington Valentine have played really well, above what anybody expected for them this season, you need, in order to win games, them not to be the focal point of the defense. And this is a situation where I think the Chicago Bears, with Ben Johnson as head coach, will have a really good opportunity with the way that he calls plays to try to get to that point. But then you also need Keyshawn Nixon and Carrington Valentine to step up when they do. You can't let these guys get hurt. And I think this is the next point that I have when you talk about Devontae Wyatt and the defensive backroom, Keyshawn Nixon especially. They need to stay healthy. If they want to be a Super Bowl caliber team, they have to keep their best players on the field at this point. And right now, I don't think they're able to do that just because they are so lackluster at the depth at those positions. The Steelers today parted ways with Darius Slay. He's a free agent currently at this moment. There could be a situation where you just bring in a veteran like that in order to add some kind of depth to this room as you make some kind of playoff push. And that makes me a lot more confident in them as a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, I'm the thing I don't know about Darius Slay that I'm curious to know about Darius Slay is what's that dude like in the locker room, right? Is he a me guy and he's not a locker room guy, he's not a team guy, he's a me guy? Because if he's a me guy, Brian Gutekunst, He's not going to touch him with a 10-foot pole if he's a me guy. It's just not going to happen. And they always say Packer people, Packer way, all that stuff. And I always call it hogwash that these dudes want to win regardless of who the players are most of the time. But in this situation with a young secondary like they have with some of these guys out there, I don't know if you want a me guy and Darius Slay in that locker room. Now, if word out of Philly is, yeah, man, he's lost a half a step. That's why we got rid of him. He's not a problem in the locker room, right? He's a team guy, but he just lost a half a step. If that's the read, then yeah, I take a flyer on him. Let's just see. Bring him in, see what he looks like for a couple weeks, and take it from there. That I think I would be okay with for sure. Let's go to Justin in Watertown. You're next here on the Nicolay Law Talk and text line 414-677-1250. Talking about this Packers-Bears game coming up, and what more do the Packers have to do to prove to you that they're a Super Bowl quality team, Justin?
Well, first of all, they did what I wanted them to do originally. They played well in the last 3 games, as I had hoped they would do, to give me a little bit more confidence that they can actually do something. Now, in order to help with that run game, as you were talking about, now they need to be a little bit more aggressive on offense. Score points. Get a lead that you negate their run game, force them to have to pass more often. Now you're going into your strength, which is pinning those ears back and going after the quarterback. Enough of this 40 seconds between each play, dragging it out, scoring 10 points in the first half. Punch them in the mouth. Score some points. Get a big lead in that first half. So in the second half, they got to throw the ball, and then we're going to be fine.
Correct. We talked about this earlier, and I agree with you, Justin. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Is, yes, getting a big lead. Because if you do that, and then Caleb Williams has to throw, and then Micah Turner and Rashawn Gary can now pin their ears back and go after Caleb Williams, that's a gigantic hit for the Green Bay Packers if you can get that done. What you do not want is a 10-7 football game, regardless of who's winning, going into the fourth quarter where now your defensive line is getting tired because they've been playing against this run game for the Bears. Listen, if we're being honest, if the Bears are 2-to-1 run-to-pass ratio, the Packers are going to be in trouble. If the pass-run ratio is 50-50, the Packers are going to win this football game. I think you can just put it that way. I think that's an even easier way to break this thing down.
I think so, but it's a lot easier said than done, too, to get them to get to that point. I guess it's a situation where they have this confidence in the Bears locker room that they can run the ball that aggressively and go out there and beat teams without having to throw the football that often. And it's going to take a lot of just preparedness from the defense of the Packers in this game to get them out of that mindset and try to force them to throw the ball. So, yeah, we can say get them to 50-50 is really easy. That's not as easy as it sounds.
The Packers make some roster moves today, as it is a green and gold update brought to you by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Packers signed cornerback Shamar Bartholomew to the practice squad, released cornerback Tyron Herring, and wide receiver Michael Woods II. Bartholomew, 6 foot, 200 pounds, a second-year player, originally signed with the Jets as an undrafted free agent in 24, was released after training camp, claimed off waivers by the Panthers. He appeared in 5 games as a rookie, recording 3 tackles, 2 passes defended, and a tackle for a loss. This season, Bartholomew spent time on the practice squad to the Panthers and Vikings. So now Bartholomew will wear number 34 for the Green Bay Packers. And it's funny, Charlie's laughing because I know what Charlie is thinking. We're talking about Darius Slay, and you go sign this no-name dude to come into Green Bay on the practice squad. That's not exactly the same thing.
No, it's not, but I'm also laughing because that's an awesome name. Shamar Bartholomew. Are you kidding me? That's great. That might be cooler than Darius Slay. So, yeah, let's give him a shot.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, no, I'm good. We don't need to go down this road. And again, if Bartholomew plays, that means somebody got hurt, and it goes back to the health thing that Charlie was talking about earlier, which is something that you want to try and stay away from any type of big-time injuries at this point because, again, they simply do not have the depth to overcome it, especially in the secondary, and you hope that you can stay healthy. All right, coming up next, we're supposed to be joined by John Greenberg, president of the Milwaukee Admirals, should be en route or close to being here. So we'll talk with him coming up straight ahead. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Windisch, broadcasting live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, here at the 19th annual toy drive for Children's Wisconsin and Robin's Nest foster care arm of Children's Wisconsin. Blaine's Farm and Fleet on Rawson Avenue in Oak Creek is the location where we are at all week long from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. collecting cash and toys this week from right here through Friday. And we have the King's Catering food truck out here, the food responders. 100% of the proceeds go to the toy drive. So check out check out the food truck. Tacos are so good. These guys do catering for all the city events in Oak Creek and so forth. Top end food, 100% of the proceeds go. So if you're hungry, want a taco or two, hop over here to the food responders food truck. Take advantage of that. Now, my challenge at the beginning at 2 o'clock was, hey, man, let's see if we can do $500, whether it be online or through text messages for people around the state of Wisconsin or southeastern Wisconsin that can't get to Oak Creek for the toy drive. You can donate online at wisportsradio.com. Again, wisportsradio.com. Text toys to 34984. At last check, we're about $125, $150 left. I'll get a final result coming up here before 5 o'clock. I'll let you know how we did. So, again, donate online at wisportsradio.com or text toys, TOYS, to 34984. Brought to you by Tri-City National Bank, Steelwind Industries, By the Yard, and Metro by T-Mobile as we broadcast live from the Bear Sunroom. Welcome in. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live here at Blades Farm and Fleet in Oak Creek on Rawson Avenue. Again, the challenge made at 2 o'clock, trying to get over $500 raised between 2 and 5 o'clock. Outside of what's going on down here at Blades Farm and Fleet. So if you're listening in Duluth or in Superior on the game, or in Wausau on the game, or in Green Bay on WNFL, or in southeastern Wisconsin, you're like, dude, that's too far of a drive to Oak Creek. No problem. You can donate online at wisportsradio.com, wisportsradio.com, or text toys to 34894, I said that wrong. 34984. 34984. Text toys. You're all set. Brought to you by Tri-City National Bank, Steelwind Industries, By the Yard, and Metro by T-Mobile. As we broadcast from the Bears Sunroom, joining us now here in the Bears Sunroom. He made the drive down, and I appreciate it.
Yep.
A longtime member of this toy drive and always comes and helps us out if he can. John Greenberg, president of the Milwaukee Admirals. John, thanks for making the drive, man. Appreciate it.
Of course, absolutely. And thank you to you guys for continuing to do this every single year. This is really awesome. You've been doing this for a really long time.
19
Sparky.
years.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
19 years.
Well
man.
done.
Yeah, you've been through it with us the whole time, too, and I appreciate that from you. Okay, so let's talk about last week. Over the weekend, for the first time, you had to move a hockey game from one day to another.
Yeah, first time since 1982 that the Admirals had a game that
82
was on the calendar that had to be moved. And, that snowstorm that came through on Saturday, the forecasters got that one right.
So you were, what was it, the IHL?
Yes.
In 82, right?
Yes,
IHL.
and both teams, I learned this, both teams were in Saginaw. The Admirals had played at Saginaw, and there was a huge snowstorm, lake effect storm that came over there, and neither team could get out. So they were supposed to play in Milwaukee the next day, so it ended up getting pushed back like a couple of months, and they found a way to get it back at the calendar. We were lucky enough to be able to play it the next day with Rockford, so it was a crazy circumstance, but we hope to not have that happen again.
So how did that all come about as far as making the determination? What has to happen in order for you to go to such drastic measures?
Well, first of all, we have to talk to our opponent and make sure they don't have a game the next day.
Right.
We have to talk to the league and make sure officials can actually get there because the officials are scheduled to book different games all over the league. We have to have an open building and be able to do that. So once we knew that the building could staff and get people in there and concessions and ticket takers and everything else, ushers, there's just all those things had to happen. And then we had to, make a decision because we wanted to make sure that both teams could get to Milwaukee safely.
Right.
Rockford, it was kind of come through right up 43 where there was like 15 or 20 inches of snow like the whole way.
Right.
And then they were going to have to go back that way as well. So I think everybody seemed to appreciate it. There were a few people. It's like, this is hockey. You got to play in the winter. Yes, you're 100% right. We sure do. But in this particular circumstance, it's safety first, and we wanted to make sure people could get around and make sure they could get to the arena. And I know that there was a lot of people who saw accidents on the freeway first thing in the morning, and like we were never going to come if you played. So it's a rare circumstance. We're lucky enough to be able to reschedule. So a lot of times you can't do that.
So the other thing was, the conversation was, okay, we got to change up marketing messages on the different radio and TV stations, get everything changed on the internet. Like, how do we get the word out the quickest at that point? And a lot of times that could mean that you don't have as many people at that game that you rescheduled to because people don't know that all of a sudden you're playing on a day that you were supposed to have off on. So how did you draw?
We actually did okay.
Okay.
I was satisfied with it. I mean, I will tell you, if you ever look at our schedules over the last 15 years, there are no Sundays during football season on our calendar.
Not against the Packers.
Even if they don't play. we tried once when there was a bye week or they were playing on a Monday.
Yeah.
It's like this state watches football on Sundays. So we don't play games on Sundays. So we threw it in there, and obviously the Packers weren't playing, the Bears weren't playing, the Lions weren't playing. So it kind of helped that way.
Yeah.
But, it was also people still cleaning up. So, we got the number. I was like, I'm okay with this.
That's good.
So it was all right.
It's great because whenever John Greenberg or like tomorrow we have our guy Matt Arnold coming out here, president and GM of the Milwaukee Brewers, I get a little more of a longer format to talk to these guys versus being, shrunk to 7 to 10 minutes or whatever the case may be. And I get to ask questions that maybe I normally wouldn't get to ask. So I'm anxious to ask a couple of questions concerning Admirals hockey. Number one, When you took this over and you left the Brewers and you came over to help be the president of this team, and you had the likes of Doug Melvin and Gord Ash and all these guys coming over with Harris, who are Mr. Milwaukee himself, to take over the Admirals. And at that point, there was concern that the Admirals were going to not be in Milwaukee. People don't remember that. People were concerned they were going to lose their jobs, all that. So when you got here, how many years ago was that?
2005.
2005. So, yeah, okay. So that makes sense. So 20 years. So so that was the first year that I was in Milwaukee at the radio station. What was the demographics then of what that Admirals fan base was? How much has it changed over the course of time?
That's a great question. It's grown significantly. The demo back then was older. It had been people who had been with the team. They were diehards. Sure. They were going to be with it until it just didn't exist anymore.
Yep.
So, our job was to come in and breathe new air into the situation and really kind of get into that youth hockey market because those were going to be your core fans over time. And now I would tell you that it's a very different demo. I mean, yes, there's still some older fans, but they've been with us for the whole time.
Last 20 years, right?
And but now you come to a game and you see a lot of 25 to 34s. You see a lot of young families that are coming to games. You see a lot of the people that are getting ready to go out on a Friday night or a Saturday night that this is their first stop when they go out. So we're hitting that younger demo, and it's absolutely the one that we want to be able to build into season ticket holders into the future.
So because we're on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network now and we're around the state of Wisconsin, I'm always been kind of curious about this too. Why isn't there more than one AHL team here in the state?
Well, there's 32 teams in the NHL, which means there's 32 teams in the American League, and so everybody has to be affiliated with an NHL team.
Right. When
we have expansion in the NHL, which is being rumored maybe for a couple of years down the road, it's going to require adding teams into our league. There's a demand for teams in our league. Geographically, I would love to have an opponent in
Wisconsin,
Green Bay or Madison.
Right.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah,
but it has to make sense for whoever that NHL team is. Where
right.
We're going to go. And I would tell you, there's teams in the league below us in the ECHL that are in Atlanta, that are in Indianapolis, that are in places like that would love to take the next step forward and become an American League franchise. So we'll see.
What's the difference in attendance between those two leagues?
Obviously, we play in bigger buildings in a lot of our places, so our attendance is going to be a little bit bigger. There's a lot of teams there that do very well.
Really?
Yep. If you go to a game in Toledo, you're not getting a ticket. I mean, they sell out every night, and that's a pretty decent-sized building.
Sure it is.
So, there's teams in Fort Myers, Florida. I wouldn't mind making that road trip.
I can imagine so, yes.
That have won a lot of championships down there. So that league is very spread out geographically.
Right.
But they've done a good job of marketing themselves at that level. And, it's the ECHL. It's the equivalent of AA.
Sure.
So the product isn't quite as good. But we do have 4 or 5 players who are playing in Atlanta on that team. So if we need to call somebody up, those are the guys we're calling.
Talking with John Greenberg, president of the Milwaukee Admirals, out here at the 19th annual Toy Drive for Children's Wisconsin and Robin's Nest. All right, I'm going to take you down another road I don't believe we've ever talked about either. So doing this across the state of Wisconsin, I also know that hockey is blowing up around the state of Wisconsin, especially, youth hockey with all these kids that play hockey across the state. I also know, living here in southeastern Wisconsin, I feel like youth hockey has blown up around here as well in recent time, as far as more and more kids playing hockey. What does that look like from your perspective of figuring out how to grow those kids that are hockey players into being Admirals fans? I think if you look at soccer over the course of time, you'd have all these kids that played soccer till like 11 or 12, and then they would leave and then they would go do something else. And then teams like the Wave wouldn't benefit from all of that necessarily down the line, or well, back then there wasn't an MLS to watch, but soccer in general didn't benefit from those kids. They just left the sport from playing it and went to go play something else, and then followed those sports and went away from the sport that they were playing. How does that work for hockey at the youth level and then transitioning them up through?
I would say that, we've seen significant growth in youth hockey in southeastern Wisconsin. I can just anecdotally tell you that we've had a couple of monstrous groups of really little kids that have skated during our intermissions over the last
Well,
few
you
weeks.
also got the Junior Admirals program, don't you?
We do. That's the elite level
Yeah.
kids. So, and they're playing all over the country.
I know one of them that
Yep.
was playing. Now he graduated high school, but like he'd play baseball, and his dad would be like, "Oh yeah, we're going to Arizona, we're going to California." I was like, "Oh my god!" Like I didn't realize how expensive hockey could get because we've had baseball, and I thought that was expensive, but hockey can be expensive too.
You can, yeah, the elite level especially. Obviously, kids that are getting started, we want as many kids playing as possible. We just came from sending all of our players out to youth hockey rinks over the last couple of weeks to be on the ice for practices.
That's awesome.
and those
Love
types of things. So those kids are going to have a memory of doing that. And, having the magic moments where the kids skate out and be out for our lineup with our starting lineup.
Yep.
It's the memories you try to create, and you invest in those memories. That investment hopefully is those families then come back and come back and come back.
That's the marketing tagline, by the way. Invest in memories. That's their tagline this year for the Admirals.
For
So
sure.
Nicely done. Work that in. I give you A plus for working that into the conversation that we're doing right now. But that's exactly it. And I think that is a large point that a lot of pro teams, whether it be the Brewers, Bucks, whatever else is, you lose that integration between the youth and then the pro players. And like, with all due respect to certain teams, you're not going to see a professional baseball player walk up on a Little League complex just randomly on a Monday night or something on an off night and watch Little League baseball or whatever the case may be. You don't see that type of stuff. And what you're doing, that's pretty cool stuff.
Well, and our guys, they're not that far removed from that, right? So I've got guys that are 20 years old, 21 years old.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden they show up and they're with a 10-year-old, and all of a sudden the lights go on. It's like, I used to be 10 years old.
Right.
And it wasn't that long ago.
And you can relate to what they're going through.
Yes. Yeah. And they have so much fun with those kids out there, and the kids can't wait to get that autograph. The amount of water bottles that have been signed, jerseys that have been signed, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't think mom and dad are going to be thrilled with that.
But see, the other thing too is, doesn't it make the players feel good to be a part of those situations and see how those kids look at them? Because they're not in the NHL at that point. They're still trying to get to the show. But even though they're not there, I attribute it to like the Northwoods League to a certain degree. You got all these college kids that are playing all over the place in the summertime from all different parts of the country. They're staying with families and all that. But you have little kids, don't know who they are. They just want an autograph.
Yeah.
And it makes those guys feel good.
Absolutely. And, you're learning, you're developing too. Like, this is all part of our players' development, is doing this as well, as learning how to go out and do these types of things, so that when they make it to the NHL, they're in Nashville and they get sent out to do something like that.
Right.
They know how to do it.
Yes.
Right. So it's not a lot of guys that first couple of times they go out and make a community visit or they go to a youth hockey rink. While youth hockey is something that's natural, they're still having to interact with people and do those types of things. So it's really a win for our players too.
Tom John Greenberg, the president of the Milwaukee Admirals, out here at the 19th annual toy drive for Children's Wisconsin. And Robin says out here to 6 o'clock, plenty of time. Stop, drop off the toy. We have the King's Catering food truck out here as well. 100% of the proceeds going there. Tacos on the menu tonight. It is delicious. I know one thing, the Blaine's Farm and Fleet employees all were asking last week, is the food truck coming back? Because the employees come out here and eat the heck out of our food truck each and every time last year. So we're out here again. Make sure to come out here, take advantage of the food truck. Okay, so my next question. The Milwaukee Brewers, when they were County Stadium, and you were there when it was County Stadium, they weren't doing probably group sales nowhere close to how they're doing group sales now, because people would come down here, it gets rained out, whatever the case may be. People don't want to deal with that. So the idea of putting the roof on and having group suites and all that was to attract people from all over the state of Wisconsin that are guaranteed to see baseball when they get here.
100%.
That was the goal.
Yep, 100%.
Okay. You're the only AHL team in town. You have a roof on. So what does that look like for you as far as attracting people from outside of this region?
Well, we play a lot of games on the weekends. So, our schedule kind of affords itself, if you want to come to Milwaukee for the weekend and, be a tourist for the weekend and do things, that we've got an activity for you that we're going to do. And 6 o'clock games on Saturday nights are awesome ways to start your night.
No doubt.
You'll go be done by 8:30 and carry on.
Yeah,
for the rest
kids,
of the
they're
night.
still not overly tired. It all works out.
Plus, if you're coming from, an hour and a half or 2 hours away, if we're done playing at 8:30, it's still reasonable to get home at 10:30 or 11 o'clock. So we do have a pretty good geography for fans coming to see us, and the more the merrier. We got room for you.
Yeah, I would think if I'm a youth team anywhere in the state of Wisconsin, middle school age, elementary school age, get together group, come on down, have a night. Because, we come for Cub Scouts night every year for the Admirals. We love, obviously, being a part of that. But, again, we're close. I'm 20 minutes, half hour away from the stadium, not hours away. But I think it would be a cool idea and trip to take down here. Take a quick time out, come back, talk more with John Greenberg of the Milwaukee Admirals. Is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Time is running out. We have until 5 o'clock to try and raise that $500 online or via text. Online, wisportsradio.com, or text TOYS to 34984. That's TOYS to 34984. Come on, people. Let's get to our number, $500. Back after this. That's absolutely correct. Still got time for you. Text the toys to 34984 as well if you want to donate online. Here to 6 o'clock. Again, King's Catering out of Oak Creek has their food responders food truck out here doing tacos tonight until 6 o'clock. They're here throughout the week from 4 to 6 o'clock. Every day, something different. Yesterday was brisket and pulled pork.
Delicious.
And they had a pasta salad with like these grape tomatoes and broccoli and cucumbers and cauliflower and peppers. And oh my God, it was so good. So yeah, come on here. Take advantage of that. Also got to make sure we talk about Prize Picks. It is the holiday season, the best time of the year for sports, whether it's big games, basketball matchups, playoff updates. It's all happening at once. And well, you and I are out here making decisions every day, what gifts to buy, what to eat, which games to watch. There's one place where it feels good to be right, and that is Prize Picks. It's daily fantasy. All you're doing is 2 or more player stat projections, more or less. You get that, and you win. They have Flex Play, which for me and Charlie helps because we never get them all right. So Flex Play, you can get one wrong and still cash out and make some money. Plus, they have stacks now with Prize Picks, too. Another very cool feature where you can take one player, say Jordan Love, and you can go more or less on touchdowns, more or less on yards, more or less on rushing or passing, all in the same lineup with another player, and they'll allow you to do that. Very cool deal. Take advantage now. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code Sparky to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code Sparky to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for details. Continuing our conversation now with John Greenberg of the Milwaukee Admirals, and we talked about around the state, youth hockey, and so forth, and how that all has developed. Now let's talk about the next point of conversation, promotions, because that is something, I mean, I'm sure you're aware, you guys have become well known for in the Milwaukee area for the outstanding promotions that you all do year in and year out. Everybody wants to see when the Badgers marching band is coming or when is dog day or whatever the case may be. You guys have had wrestling nights, racing night, all kinds of different stuff. You guys have been outstanding at that. So who comes up with it? Who works that? How long does that process take to figure it out? Then you probably have to go find sponsors. How does that whole process work behind the scenes?
Yeah, thank you for those kind words. We take an enormous pride in that promotional schedule. Yeah. It's 36 nights, 36 different shows. So that's awesome. That's our mantra. And everybody comes up with ideas. It doesn't matter who, anybody in the organization, interns up to the owner, and everybody throws the ideas down.
Harris Turd doesn't come up with ideas.
Oh, yes, he does.
Stop.
Yes, he does. Some of them aren't very good. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Sorry, boss.
We love Harris.
But people are already throwing ideas on a board for next year.
That's great.
So, we're already coming up with ideas for next year. This year, it really starts to get put together in earnest once the schedule comes out in July. But there are things that we know we want to do. There are things that we've done for a long time that we're going to continue to do because they've been successful and people expect us to do them.
Yes.
Like dog days, we've been, I think, doing those for now 12 years, and post-game concerts that predates me. And
whether it's you do classic rock, you've done country, you've done different artists from different genres across the line.
Absolutely. Yeah. A little bit of everything. Badger Band is my favorite.
It's my favorite
personally.
Yep,
so March 6th.
I love
put
it.
that on your calendar.
Yep.
And then some of the goofy stuff we like to do as well, and some of it's serious. Like I will tell you, this year we are combining goofy and serious at the same time.
That's tough
for our Hockey Fights Cancer Night. And in January, we're actually going to be bringing back some legendary Admirals fighters.
Now you're talking.
Yeah, so
that'll draw.
Yeah, so we'll have an announcement coming out on that. But also Hockey Fights Cancer is also a very special night for a myriad of reasons.
No doubt.
So that stuff's going to happen. The concerts are going to happen.
I'll tell you another one that you're not talking about yet, and you haven't thought about it. To me, the Brewers do it. You guys really started doing it first, I believe. I don't think anybody else was doing it. The idea of playing hockey during the day so school kids can come and having buses of school kids from all these different schools during a school day, that being the field trip, that is awesome because then they're going to go home and tell mom and dad, went to a hockey game. It was so cool. Can we buy tickets and go to another hockey game? I mean, from a marketing standpoint, it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, thanks. We we had our first one this year. We had just about 9,000 kids in the building, and
that's guarantee you it's loud.
Yeah, and it's Mike Wojciechowski's favorite night of the year because he says I'm Geppetto, I'm the puppet. I make him do what I want him to do. So but it's we have 2 of those a year. Another one coming up in March, and we've now expanded our school map. It's now like 9 counties of kids coming to these games. So it's high school kids all the way down to kindergartners,
right?
And it's just a really fun day. The chaperones look a little wiped out when they're getting back on the bus afterwards, but
sure.
it's it is technically an educational thing. Every kid leaves with a workbook.
Nice.
That's age appropriate.
Really,
and they're learning geography and math.
This is how you take off your gloves and throw a proper punch.
That's Yes, we tell our guys know that they're not supposed to do that necessarily during a school game, but for once in a while it happens. So
that's what they all want to see anyhow. That's what everybody gets excited, right?
Our first school day game, I'm standing outside of the Bradley Center with like 5 minutes to go because I need, people are going to start coming out. We had 12,000 kids
there. Got to organize
and
this.
Get everything else. And I'm looking at my watch and it's been like 20 minutes. And so I get on my radio and I say, what's going on in there? Like, the game should be over. They're like, we've had like 5 fights. I'm like, we were playing the Peoria Rivermen and they just didn't want to leave quietly. So
that is wild.
The teachers were walking out afterwards just kind of shaking their heads.
I bet they were.
Kids thought it was great. Yes, kids thought it was great.
I guarantee you the kids thought it was great. All right, what do you guys got coming up here in the next week or so?
Yeah, so tomorrow night we play Iowa at 7 o'clock. It's a Summerfest winning weekday, so if we win that one, you can use that ticket for a free one for Tuesday, December 30th, so during holiday hockey.
Awesome.
And then it's also our office holiday party night. So we've got a lot of businesses who have taken us up on that offer. Santa's going to be there. So that's always
there
fun.
You go.
Yep. And then December 13th, Saturday, December 13th, we have our Gruber t-shirt night. So obviously David Gruber, a wonderful sponsor of a lot of teams in our market. He's with us, and the first 3,000 fans that night and that Saturday are going to get a free t-shirt, Admirals t-shirt, and then that's it until Christmas. So we are only home for 4 games this month. So if you want to catch us those first 2, and then we are home on the 27th, right after Christmas, taking on Grand Rapids, who has lost 1 game in regulation this year.
Oh boy!
So they are 15-1-0 and 1.
Crazy,
but they have not played us yet.
Okay.
So
Their time's coming.
Yes, we are in second place, and we are looking forward to that challenge of playing them.
That's going to be good. He is John Greenberg, president of the Milwaukee Admirals. Thank you so much for coming out, and thank you for donating a check and some money to the toy drive as well. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, and thank you again for all you do. And Admirals fans or hockey fans, if you're listening, please donate.
Yeah, absolutely. Please donate. We had the $500 challenge, Charlie using. I just got a text. We have $500 as of 4:49.
All right, way to go.
Got it by 11 minutes. $500 in 3 hours we raised. Thank you to everybody listening in Wausau, Duluth, Superior, Green Bay, and, of course, southeastern Wisconsin. Still plenty of time for y'all to get out here and donate toys for Children's Wisconsin and Robin's Nest out here all week through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Would love to see you out here. Say hi. We had our guy Marty dropped off a box of starting lineup figurines still in the box.
That's
Jason
awesome.
Kidd on the Suns. John Randall on the Vikings. Like all these old school ones. There were like 30 or 40 of them in there. It was awesome. So all kinds of people dropping off stuff. Come out here. King's Catering doing their thing until 6 o'clock. Tacos on the menu for our Food Responders food truck out here. 100% of the proceeds go to the toy drive. They're out here each day as well. Thanks to Charlie Usen. Tomorrow, Matt Arnold, Brewers GM and president, will join us out here tomorrow at 3:30 out here at the toy drive. Last year, we won a WBA award with that interview. The pressure is on, John Greenberg. Can we pull it off a second time?
I think you can, and he's also a big hockey fan, so you can talk about hockey with Matt as well.
What is it with you and the hockey guys over at the Brewers? What is going on? And Gord Ash, he's another big hockey guy. Unbelievable. Good stuff. All right, there you go. Out we go. Coming up next, Wisconsin Sports Wrap-Up with our hair and makeup guy, Tommy Wirtz. He's coming up at 5 o'clock. If you missed it earlier, you got to go back. Ty Windisch, the Eurostep podcast, joined us on X, and he had his hair and makeup done beforehand. We found out it was Tommy. So he's coming up 5 to 6, give you the best of the day here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Probably a lot of people complaining about Giannis and the Bucks. Enjoy the rest of your night. Have a good one. Toodles.